Well, hey, everybody. Welcome to The Creation Today. I guess this is kind of a show, not an official show. My name is Eric Hovind. Today, we're going to tackle the topic that has sparked a lot of conversation online. Everywhere I go to churches, I'm sure my friend Dr. Faulkner, when you travel to churches, you still get this question, what about the flat earth?
Yeah.
And I hear this all the time. It shapes conversations. People are very passionate about it. Some people just simply curious. Other people very, very convinced. And it seems like for some, it's a settled issue. Case is closed. Either the earth is a globe or the earth is flat. But I'm seeing people that are going, I just have questions. And I got to be honest, several years ago when this first came out, back in the early 2010s, I began wondering myself, is it true or is it false? Have I been lied to? So just thought we'd have a fun time here hanging out with you guys and talking about, and oh man, look who just joined us. Mr. Toon joined us. Toon, what's up, buddy? Don't have audio from you yet, at least that I can hear. No worries. But let me introduce, first of all, Dr. Danny Faulkner. We just did a show recently talking about debunking the flat earth arguments, and it brought up a lot of conversation that people had. And then Toon joined us on that on the conversation. I didn't realize, I don't know why I didn't put two and two together. Toon went to Antarctica, did this experiment, the final experiment. But there's a whole lot of things that go into the whole flat earth movement that I wanted to discuss and just make it a fun conversation for as long as time as we have here. Doc, thanks for hanging out.
Oh, my pleasure.
Toon, thanks for hanging out with us, buddy.
Yeah, good to see you.
There it is. I got it. Turn it up just a little bit. Okay, I've got Rachel. Yeah, we did go live on Restream. Let me open up the chat over here. If you're watching on social media and you want to join this conversation, I need to open up my chat here. If you want to join this conversation on Zoom, the links are on our social media channels. You can go register for the Zoom right now, and would love to have you. We're going to try our best to go through the comments, but I wanted to just go through some of the arguments that flat earthers use and find out, okay, are they convincing? Should they be convincing? Should they make us question? Is NASA a big lie? All of that stuff I want to get into. So, guys, where do we start with this? Danny, you've been involved in this for several years.
10 years.
10 years now. And you got into it because so many people were just asking about it.
What happened to me is in February of 2016, I had a conversation with, in 1 week's time, 3 different adults concerned about 3 different young people. And I got home, I was traveling. I got home and I thought, there's something going on out there. And I got online, started looking. I was surprised because back then it was just everywhere. If you did flat earth, you had thousands of hits on pro flat earth sites. And it was very difficult to find any debunking stuff back then. It's flipped completely around now because they've changed search engines and such. And they've really censored a lot of stuff, which I'm not a big fan of. I'm really mixed about that because I believe in freer access, and I have a difficult time finding good flat earth material now. It really is difficult to find stuff because it's so suppressed, and I'm against that sort of idea.
So let's have a free speech platform.
All right, yeah, as much as possible. I mean, I get it that there's some real issues on the Wild West we had. We need some sort of reform, but I think they've gone too far.
Okay. Toon, how about you? What made you go, you know what? I'm going to be an expert on flat earth.
I didn't think I was going to be I didn't decide to do that. But I similarly stumbled onto it. I had found an article back around 2010 that I read about by Robert. Oh, I have his book. Schadewald. Robert Schadewald, an atheist that used the Bible. Pointed to the Bible, said Bible says flat earth, and used that as a discredit for the Bible. And then in 2018, I happened on some videos on YouTube and started engaging since then.
So similar time frame. And now let's just put it, not to toot your own horn, not for Toon to toot his own horn, but Toon, you've kind of been there, done that. When it comes to all the flat earth, quote, evidence, experiments, you've kind of seen it all, done it all, gone to Antarctica, been there, done that, right?
Yeah. And Danny almost got to go. It would have been really fun. But yeah, went to Antarctica. That was, it still is actually. There's so much misinformation that they spread. But a fundamental part of their claim is that that Antarctica somehow is the wall around the outside, or the container around the outside. And if that's the case, then you could look at the sun when you're there, and if the sun goes in circles around you, right, where at one point it's south of you, well, the sun couldn't then also be north of you at the same time. So that was the test.
Nice.
We did many, but that was the big one.
Well, that's to me the definitive. I mean, when you look at that, we can get into that. And feel free to, if you want to share screen, I'm going to have Danny share screen here in just a second with some thoughts. But I thought, let me first of all go to some of the comments that I got, just so I am not accused of not responding to all these comments. Oh man, there's too many to go through. You guys are good. Okay. All right. Here's some comments that I got on my wrong page. No. I thought I was mirroring that screen. Oh, I can't show it to you. Let me share screen here. So let me just read some comments that I got. Taylor, I'm not personally convinced of the spherical Earth model. I would ask more fundamental questions. How much of what he knows about Earth's shape comes from direct, repeatable experimentation, and how much comes from relying on the testimony of scientific institutions and accepted theories? I'm going to stop right there, pause right there. That's from Taylor 2 on my personal Facebook page. Guys, how much of this flat versus round comes from absolute empirical scientific data? You're doing the test. We're figuring
She asked I guess it's a she or he?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, Taylor, that's a very good question. And I like that kind of question. And it's important to be able to say, yeah, I've actually gone and checked it. I went through this starting around 1969 or 1970. I was in high school, and I was really starting to get into astronomy and into science. And I asked myself the question, well, what do I know? Can I prove these things to myself empirically? And I began looking into it and having discussions with people who knew more about it than I did, and did things on my own. And so I've been doing this for well over a half century. And yes, I can say, well, much of what I know, believe to be true, comes from my own direct observations. I don't trust everything that I read or hear about. I just wish flat earthers would do the same thing. I find that flat earthers many times are very trusting of other flat earth sources. So it's a good question to ask.
Toon, what about you? When you think of it, empirical scientific evidence, are you looking at it from that perspective? How much comes from that?
Well, I've traveled all over and done my own testing. I've measured the radius of the Earth multiple times. Personally, I have done things like somebody gave me a P1000, the camera that the flat earthers love, and tried to zoom in a boat. They say if a boat goes over the curve, you can zoom it in. Turns out that's a lie. You cannot zoom it in. I've done all the math myself. I've learned how to apply the geometry myself. I taught myself celestial navigation. So I've done celestial navigation myself using just the app on my phone that measures the angle to stars and determine where I was. I went to Lake Tahoe a year ago to see if I could see across the 20-mile stretch from shore to shore. Could not see it. I've done a lot myself, so I can say, using only my own stuff, I know what radius the Earth is, not just what shape, but what the radius is.
I got to give the flat earthers some credit here, if it's okay, because they are creative. Okay, and I get it. You guys are convinced, and you want us to be convinced. And I don't know about you, Toon or Danny, but I just giggle at some of the stuff because I'm like, okay, creative. Okay, here's my screen. I think you guys got my screen here. Here's my Facebook page. First of all, meanwhile in Australia, and it's a lady with a kangaroo, and they're upside down, and they're wondering, how does that work? And I'm like, okay, creative. And then of course you have the whole NASA lies.
Yeah.
And Dr. Faulkner, I got to just show off. Here's Dr. Faulkner's mouse pad right here. Support NASA. Going, okay, you are
actually,
definitely.
it says support continues to provide evidence for a young biblical creation.
Oh, that's even
They're saying
better.
evidence from NASA actually supports recent creation.
That's even better.
So
should have read the bottom.
You didn't read the whole thing here. You got context is always important.
Context.
I brought that mouse pad today just for that reason.
And then Kai also says, what all flat earthers have in common, we all thought the earth was a globe. We all thought that flat earth was a joke. You all have done in-depth research on this topic. And we all agree, once you go flat, you never go back. And man, Danny flatly refuses to agree with flat earthers, especially with the flat feed. I think that's supposed to be a joke or inside joke somehow.
Maybe, yeah.
Can you guys dare debate the quantum eraser, John Stunya? You are a disgrace to Christianity. Oh, Michael, look at that. You replied. John is a disgrace to Christianity. Yeah, I guess if we're going to play that game, we just play that game, huh? Is that how that goes?
Yeah, the less said about John is good.
Okay,
all right.
Nice. Okay, so I made a list of arguments that I've heard flat earthers use, and scientific arguments specifically, and I thought, boy, it'd be kind of fun to get into some of the scientific arguments, other comments that came in just on our social media page. I don't like the term flat earth. This is from Amanda J. I don't like the term flat earth. I wish we would refer to it as biblical cosmology. When you deny biblical cosmology, you deny God's very own words. Now that brings up the Bible versus flat earth. And as we jump into this, guys, I guess in my mind, I'm going, it feels like there's so much thrown against the wall. You kind of don't know where to start. Let me start with this. What about the videos? And is this even a flat earth argument or not? The videos where they say, look, these NASA astronauts in space are actually using strings to hold themselves up. You can see them pulling on the string, hold them in place. Therefore, space doesn't exist. Therefore, the earth is flat. Is that a correlation? Is that an argument that works?
I don't think so. I've looked at their videos on that, and I'm not convinced by what I see. But more to the point, while it's necessary if the earth is flat that we've not been to space, the converse is not true. If you can argue persuasively that we've not been to space, it doesn't follow that the earth is flat. In fact, there are people deny we've been to space who believe in a globe earth. That's irrelevant at this point. It's kind of a distraction. And I usually don't go there because I just don't think it's a very productive argument. It doesn't lead you to either conclusion on that front. And I do know 3 astronauts fairly well, and they're Christian brothers. I've examined them and their lives. And so I need 2 or 3 witnesses according to scriptural basis for things, for establishing something. And I have three witnesses that have been out above the earth, looked down, and the earth is indeed spherical. If you want to dispute that, then you have to, if you're born again believer, then you're in the position of accusing 3 Christian brothers of lying about one of the biggest things that happened in their lives. And that's a very bad situation to be in if you have no real evidence that they're lying. All you're saying is, I don't like what their conclusion is, so therefore they must be lying. That's not a good argument, really. And it makes me angry when people want to malign 3 friends of mine so carelessly. And I've been maligned too. People accuse me of lying quite a bit as well. Well, give me the evidence that I've lied, and you're not going to find that because I haven't on this front. But you know, the big question, the big argument people generally use that flat earthers use is that we see too far if the earth is spherical. If the earth is 25,000 miles in circumference, then if you're 6 feet above the water, then your tangent of your view will be blocked at 3 miles out, and beyond that, things will be blocked off. So they like these kind of photographs. And would you put my screen back up there, what I have? This is a photograph by Joshua Nowicki. Joshua Nowicki, I need to point out, is not a flat earther. He's just a very good photographer, and he understands optics very well. And this is a very intriguing photograph he has here. This is a photograph of the Chicago skyline. If you're familiar with Chicago, you can pick out some of the buildings there. Notice it doesn't go all the way down. The street is missing. In fact, a good deal of the ground is missing. So something is blocking at least part of it. Now, what makes this a provocative photograph is the fact that it's taken from over 50 miles away from probably a state park in southwestern Michigan, looking across Lake Michigan. And if you do the calculation of the sphericity of the earth, you'll determine that there's quite a bit of blockage of the earth's curvature there, and the entire skyline should lie below the horizon that you see, and yet there is the horizon. So this needs explanation, and probably the most famous one is coming from a 2016 flat earther video done And this photograph right here, sometimes called the black swan photo. And it shows two platforms there, oil platforms off the coast of Southern California. I did not take this photo screenshot from the video. Somebody else did. And it shows those two platforms with their distance from the shore. And the person doing this used a camera really low to the water. And he said the calculation shows that you should have blockage of the bottom of those structures by the horizon. And yet it appears that the horizon is beyond the two platforms. So they say, checkmate, the Earth must be flat because this is obvious from this. Otherwise, the horizon would be in front of them. And so this is why they call it a black swan. If you believe all swans are white, all you have to do is produce one black swan to disprove that. However, I've watched this video myself a number of times, and I took this screenshot from the same video.
Huh.
Yeah, this is exactly what you're supposed to see on a spherical Earth. And yet it's in the same video. And for some reason, flat earthers usually don't show this. And some of them do, but usually most of them don't show this. Notice the more distant one here is the understructure is completely blocked. This one, the closer one, is only partially blocked. Also notice this crane sticking out here is very straight. If you go back to that other screenshot that someone took, notice that that's very wavy out here. And that's telling me there's a lot of refraction going on. This one's wavy as well. A lot of atmospheric refraction occurring in this photograph. And I know when you say atmospheric refraction, a lot of flat earthers will roll their eyes and just, there you go again, the magic wand or something. Well, I do understand physics pretty well. I have a good background in physics, and I understand optics well. I understand Snell's law. And if you have a temperature inversion, you can indeed have these sort of things taking place. It follows basic physics. I'm not going to get details here. I've done it elsewhere. But what's interesting, if you go back to this photo right here, this is what the person in the video actually puts up on these things. Let's go back to this photograph. About this photograph, what he says, he said, most days, this is a screenshot, and you can see where I took it in this video. Most days, normal visibility of platforms and boats will appear there behind the horizon, curvature of Earth. Now it's kind of broken up. There was no voiceover. It's all music with these screens putting up with words. I don't know if maybe the person who made this, English is not his first language or something. But if you look at it, it's pretty clear what he's saying is most of the time when I do this experiment, what I see is evidence that the Earth is spherical. And what did he say about this particular photograph, the one that's the black swan that proves the Earth can't be spherical? He says, once in a while, not very often, there will be days when conditions are right to see full image. And what he's just admitted here is that most of the time I see evidence that the Earth is spherical, but on rare occasions I see evidence that the Earth may not be spherical. And so I'm going to throw away 99% of the data and keep the one data point that agrees with me. And I see this happening again and again and again and again with flat earthers. They will keep doing experiments until they get the result they want, and they'll throw away all the experiments that disagree with their conclusion. And flat earthers seem to have a difficult time understanding confounding variables. You can have more than one thing going on. And if you discount that one thing, then of course, if you sift through the data, you're going to find one that you like. But if you're going to deal with it honestly, you need to consider all the variables. You need to ask yourself the question, why do most of the time do we see evidence that the Earth is spherical? And I have done this experiment myself. I don't live near a large body of water, but when I do get near a large body of water, I like to take the Questar telescope that I use. It has a 1300 millimeter focal length, put a camera on this, and I take photographs of ships and boats. And every time I've done this, I see evidence of curvature of the Earth. I don't see a flat Earth. Again, these things where they see these images where they claim that it's showing that the Earth is flat, that's a rare circumstance. I have never encountered this. And so they're cherry picking the data. And that's dishonest. I would like to believe that the flat earthers who make this argument and repeat this argument are unaware of what they're doing. If they are aware, then they're intentionally being dishonest. That is, they're lying to you. And I caution, Taylor asked, do I do these things for myself, or am I relying upon the say-so of other people? Well, I do them myself. I look at what other people say, and then I check it for myself. And I think many flat earthers refuse to do that. They will repeat what other flat earthers have said.
Okay. I got several people joining me via Zoom here. I'm not exactly sure how many of you guys are on here, but thanks for hanging out on Zoom with us and really wanted the Flat Earth community to feel free to come and make comments on Zoom. Bing says, how does the existence of 24-hour sun in the South Pole or in the South prove that the surface of a lake curves 32 inches and 2 miles? Have you ever personally ever asked a surveyor to verify the 32-inch drop along a 2-mile lake shore? To me, a measurement would be empirical evidence. Toon, what are your thoughts on that comment? Because I do want to, I guess, prioritize you guys. But social media, if you guys want to jump in on this, feel free to jump in and ask your questions as well.
Well, so the what we did in Antarctica, seeing the sun was a test whether or not the Earth is flat. It's a falsification test of flat Earth because the claim is that let's see. I got a map here.
Yeah, let's see that. While you're finding your map, we'd like to welcome Teddy to the program today. Teddy is back here watching. If you're not familiar with Danny Faulkner's Teddy, you got to go to his Facebook page and Teddy's Facebook page to learn about that. And Teddy is approving so far of everything that's been said, so we're good to go. All right, got the map.
Here is it's a little marked up here, but this is the map that they typically use, and it has Antarctica around the outside. So they say that Antarctica is the wall holding in the water. Some people say that we live, the entire Earth is we live in the Antarctic basin. So we went.
Can the audience see that?
Yes, they can see that.
Okay, so we went to South America, and then we went to the 79 degrees south. So if we're here, then, and the sun does this, they say, it goes around this circle here. This is the Tropic of Capricorn. So this is December, where the sun is, according to Flat Earth claim. So if we're here, then the sun doing this, we should see it north and northwest and northeast. We should never see it go circles around us. So that's the claim of Flat Earth. So we can test that empirically by checking to see if the sun does that. The sun did not do what the Flat Earth required, therefore Flat Earth has been falsified. So how does that empirically show that the surface of water curves? Well, assuming that the Earth is somewhat consistent in its shape instead of some sort of an undulating shape, then we can make other predictions based on the radius of the Earth. And we did that, in fact. We computed the angle that the sun should be at different times of day and ahead of time for that location. And then I brought a printout of that sheet of paper, and I placed markers in an ellipse around a camera. And then the camera I set up at a certain height based on the angles that we had computed, so that the tip of the shadow would reach these markers. And the markers we used were just snow chunks. And then I put up a camera for 24 hours and recorded it. So based on the radius of the Earth and the position of the Earth and Sun relationship, I made these predictions. Then tested that prediction. So and it matched. And so if you look on my Conspiracy Tunes channel, you can see there's a sundial video from over a year ago. That's a 24-hour time lapse of that video. So that's how we can use that to confirm that the surface of water is curving. Now, she or he also asked, how can we know, or have I ever asked a surveyor? And yes, I have spoken with a surveyor. Jesse Kozlowski is a licensed surveyor, and he has personally measured the surface of a lake multiple times to see that it does in fact curve at the rate that the globe requires.
Nice. I just shared your screen so people can know where to go for Conspiracy Tunes. Just look that up at Conspiracy Tunes on YouTube to see that. And I'm assuming we just go to videos and
hit search and then do sundial, probably.
Yeah, 24 hours. Look at that. So you calculated this ahead of time. Okay, this is just too cool.
Yeah, click on that.
Michael, you were very well prepared for this, obviously.
This is amazing. So you knew, I mean, you've been in this is a year and a half ago that you did this, a little over a year and a half ago that you did this. So you knew, or less than a year and a half ago, you knew this is what the claims are going to be.
Yep.
So let's look at that.
You can see the snow chunks there.
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful. Look at that. And this is all calculated based on a globe Earth model.
Yep.
And that's very important because you made a specific prediction about what would happen on a globe Earth. You went there and you did the test, and it matched the observations and the predictions matched very well. And what were the flat Earth predictions again, Michael?
I could not get any flat earthers to produce any predictions, so I had to use what they have been saying for the last 175 years and just apply the geometry of that. And the prediction for flat Earth is that the sun would be always north of you, and so the sun would go back and forth, and it would then the shadow, the tip of the shadow would trace an ellipse toward the south.
Interesting. We got a couple people on Zoom here saying, listen, Jesse does not. Oh, you're responding to this Bing guy, or to this Bing individual. Michael looks.
By the way, Michael, you mentioned earlier about the claim that people say when you zoom in on ships, they come back into view, and you point out it's false. I did a little thing with photographs. There's some YouTube videos out there where flat earthers will put a coin on a table, and they will move the coin away. And when it gets to the other end of the table, sure enough, you can't see the coin anymore. But then when they zoom in, the coin magically appears. And they say, see, when you zoom in, you see it. Well, if you can switch to my camera here, my screen. This is the photograph I did in my basement. It looks kind of messy because it is a basement. And can you see the wiffle ball there on the other end of the table?
I don't see a wiffle ball.
There's a table edge in the way. Well, if I change this a little bit, the top of the ball becomes visible, and then a little more, and then most of the ball is suddenly visible. So what did I do here? I did not move the camera. I set the camera down near table height, and all I did is I changed the exposure times and the diaphragm of the camera. Most flat earthers aren't aware there's a diaphragm in there. When you take a short exposure, the diaphragm opens up and gets very large. And when you take a long exposure, the diaphragm gets smaller, because if you don't, you're going to overexpose the thing. So all I did is I changed those two settings. I know how to use a camera. It's a SLR, digital SLR camera. I can make those changes easily. And what I did is I positioned the lens, as shown in this diagram. You got a larger lens on the bottom because the diaphragm's larger. The top diagram, the diaphragm's smaller. And notice that the center of the lens is actually below the tabletop. And again, I hope that flat earthers who make these coin on a tabletop videos are doing this honestly. They just make a mistake and don't realize what they're doing. If they know what they're doing, then they are intentionally lying to people. So they're misleading people, but not necessarily intentionally so. But they set the camera down there, and they think they've got the camera set so it's right at the edge of the table, but really the edge of the center of the camera lens is a little below the table. Now, when you've got it set for a wide angle, you low power, your camera is going to be kind of narrow viewpoint. The diaphragm is going to shut down automatically on you. You're not going to do it. It's going to do it itself. And sure enough, you're not going to, the top diagram shows that, and you're not going to be able to see that distant object, that little red arrow. But as you zoom in, the camera diaphragm has to open. Otherwise, the image will be way too dim. It automatically opens, and as it does, some of the light from that arrow is now reaching the camera lens where it wasn't reaching it before. So again, this is showing what happens when you zoom in that kind of environment with the coin on the tabletop. You're allowing light to reach it when it's way far away, but you're not zooming it in and bringing it back into view because suddenly it magically does that. People don't understand what they're doing with the cameras here. Now,
I'm looking at the science of what you guys are doing, and I'm going, okay, Toon, I'm looking at your channel. Did you offered $100,000 to flat earthers?
Yeah, I still have that. I still have that on offer. So they have claimed that the trip was faked somehow. I said, well, that's fine. Let's both you and me go on the trip, and we will we'll both put $100,000 in escrow first. And then if the sun sets, you get my $100,000. And if the sun circles 24 hours a day, I get your $100,000. But I have no takers yet.
Oh,
I'm confident that I'm not lying. So confident that I'll take a second mortgage on my house. And none of them are confident in their claim enough to do the same thing. So that tells us all very clearly they do not even believe their own claims.
this is interesting. Okay, let's hit comment from Grant on Facebook. Grant says, let me find that, Rachel. Sorry. You people are cowards. Thank you, Grant. Very kind of you. Bring a flat earther on your show. Don't just talk about us with no way to defend our position. Grant, happy to have you come join me on Zoom right now. I think the link is on our Facebook page. Jump on here, man.
And by the way, Grant, how many times have you admonished the same thing to flat earthers? They have flat earthers talking about things, and how often do you tell them you need to bring some globe earthers in there, or critics in, to talk about it? You need to be consistent in your criticism.
That's good. Dean says, in my opinion, the whole flat earth issue is a distraction with demonic origins. Wow. Okay. Well, there you go.
Absolutely.
It is. I tell you, it is interesting, and I don't. This is just me coming off the top of my head here. When God says He'll send them strong delusion, I never imagined flat Earth being the strong delusion that God sends. I mean, I was seeing that as other things, but there is a strong delusion going on, despite all the scientific evidence.
And I think the appeal that I've said this before many times, but the appeal flat earther has for people is what I call is Gnosticism, the secret knowledge that somehow elevates you spiritually or intellectually. And Gnosticism is rampant in our society and rampant in the church today. People are chasing after all sorts of special hidden meanings. They think that the truth is always hidden, obscured, and they have a kind of a belief that there's an inverse relationship between how widely something is believed and how likely it is to be true. And that's just wrong-headed. The ideas are true or false based upon whether they're true or false, not upon whether people believe them or not.
Let me go to this thought real quick. I want to make sure, because to me the final experiment really was the final experiment. I want to just show everybody watching. This is again on is this, what's the name? Conspiracy Tunes. Just look up 24-hour sun, and you have two videos here, each 12 hours long. These and people have sped these up where you can watch it very quickly. But this is a 24-hour sun in Antarctica, which, again, if you look at the map, that's an impossibility on a flat Earth model. And you guys have mentioned this to me before. There is no absolute consistent claim on on what the flat Earth looks like. Is that right? We can't get 100% agreement from flat Earthers on what the actual diagram of the Earth looks like. Is that right?
You can't get flat earthers to agree on much of anything. When I do make a general statement about flat earthers, many times I get that's a broad statement. We don't all believe that. And they're true. They believe the Earth is flat, but beyond that, almost everything else is on the table. And it's difficult to get a consistent position from people. And that's indicative of something. I think it's telling you that there's some ill-defined things out there.
Bing says, why would the behavior of the lights in the sky have anything to do with the shape of the ground?
Because as you move around on the Earth, these lights are in the sky, and simple geometry and trigonometry would allow you to fix your position and fix other people's position simultaneously or different times looking at it. It's a fact of geometry and mathematics that you can fix positions. This is a well understood procedure. It's been used for thousands of years by surveyors. We can apply them to the sky. When you go in the sky, the rules don't suddenly change. I think that's what flat earthers like to believe, is that somehow the sky is different from everything else. And I see no evidence of that at all.
Okay, so first question is obviously the horizon, or the idea of how do we see so far away. You showed from that video, from your pictures. Toon, do you have anything that you like to talk about?
Let me add to that. Almost 50 years ago, I learned how to make predictions of things in the sky. And I've done it many times over the years.
Scientifically, you mean?
Yeah, what I do, I can predict. You give me the time and you give me the location. Date too, time of day, date, and location. And I can predict for you where the sun will be at all times during the day. I can predict sunrise, and I can predict sunset. I can predict when stars will be up. And I do all of this based upon a spherical model of the Earth. I have never seen a flat earther make a similar prediction. Never. It can't be done. And I do make tests out there, and I apply trigonometry and geometry to these tests that I perform. And I try to make it fit to a flat Earth, and it doesn't work. For instance, if I see a star a certain height in the sky, and I get its altitude, it's the angle that makes with the horizontal, I can then, if I know how far away the point below it is, what we call the geographical position, I can calculate the height of that object. And if I do that consistently on a flat Earth, I get wild variations. The sun will be 3,000 miles up one time, 5,000 miles up another time, another 2,000 miles another time. It just bears no reality. But if I do these things with a spherical Earth, I get consistent results all the time. And I've tested this countless times. Again, the question was asked by Taylor earlier if I test this for myself. Yes, multiple times throughout 50 years I've been doing this. And I can make specific predictions, and they come out every time. Again, flat earthers, where are your predictions? I don't see any.
Mctoon, what do you say about the being able to see distant objects that seem to be, when you run the calculations, hey, that is too far down? We've talked about the atmosphere. Anything else you'd like to add to that?
Well, they never once get the globe prediction correct. The general flat Earth argument is the globe predicts, and then not what the globe predicts. They get it wrong.
Really?
Right? This observation doesn't match the thing that the globe doesn't predict. No surprise. Therefore, the Earth is flat. So there's two problems. Of course, you've misfigured out what should happen for the Earth, for the globe. And number two, you've jumped to a conclusion that does not necessarily follow. So, for example, it's almost always the C too far. So they get the math wrong every time on C too far. So when the Joshua Nowicki photo is shown, and I can show it here. Here's the Joshua Nowicki photo, right? Well, the bottom is missing. Where's the bottom? Flat Earth predicts nothing should be missing. Oh, but flat earthers don't make predictions very well. But here's the actual analysis. How high was the observer? Well, the observer was 180 feet above the surface of the water. Well, they do the math for 0 feet above the water. And how far away was it? Well, they use varying distances, 60 miles or 70 miles or 80 miles. It was 53 miles. And what is the actual globe prediction? Well, here's the actual globe prediction right here. 300 feet should be hidden. That's the actual globe prediction. And what is
at that elevation and everything?
Yeah. And
okay.
Then what is the flat Earth prediction? Well, the flat Earth prediction is over here on the left. None of it should be blocked. None of this is Willis Tower or Sears Tower. None of it should be blocked, and it should be a certain height. Now, the photograph doesn't give the details necessary to determine whether or not the dip, right, how high it is. But that's the flat Earth prediction. So let's go back and look at the original photo again. And here's the photo. And we can see Willis Tower over here on the left, and the bottom is missing. So where's the bottom? Well, and how much was blocked? Oh, about 30 stories. The globe prediction was matched. So one of their favorite photos is actually really solid globe evidence. But they did not get the globe prediction correct, and they did not make any prediction for flat Earth at all. So back to some of the people in the comments. How does it explain, how does going to Antarctica relate to a different topic? Well, it's a different topic, so it's a bit of you can tell they're trying to avoid the topic that doesn't work for flat Earth. But now, what is the flat Earth prediction? I ask to Bing in the chat there. What is the flat Earth prediction for how much should be obstructed bottom up across the surface of water? And the answer is always no answer.
That is very telling right there. Very telling.
You mentioned Bing. I see he's got a comment there. Lunar eclipses happen with both the sun and the moon above the horizon. This was witnessed last Tuesday. The moon was eclipsed, yet the sun rose before the moon set. Bing, what you're talking about is a selenelian. And I would like to ask you, I'd like to apply Taylor's question to you. Did you actually observe this for yourself, or did you trust somebody else that said they saw it? That's a very important question. Again, we need a consistent set of rules. You can't demand of me that I have to confirm everything for myself, and you're willing to rely upon on the say-so of others. I have seen now, including the one last Tuesday, 20 total lunar eclipses. I've seen several other partial lunar eclipses. And I've never seen a selenelian. I've tried a few times, but the weather was not good enough. A selenelian is not a common occurrence. It happens every lunar eclipse at the beginning, at the end of the eclipse, where the sun is setting and the sun is rising, beginning and ending of the eclipse. But you need excellent weather to see it, and you also need a very good exposure in both directions to be able to see it. It's demanding an awful lot. And I'm not calling you. When did I call you a liar? I just asked you a question.
Might be talking about Mctoon. Mctoon is
okay. I'm sorry. I misunderstood. I'm sorry.
Might be talking about Mctoon.
Oh, okay. My apology then. But that's really important.
He's getting on you. He's getting on you.
Oh, this is about Danny.
I never. If it's about me,
well, since you didn't ask him anything, and Mctoon, you said you asked Bing what would be the evidence. I'd have to go back to find that comment.
The flat Earth prediction for obstruction. Yeah.
But let me get back to selenelians. Again, I've tried looking for them. They're not easy to see. However, I can use the spherical Earth model to predict where and when a selenelian will occur. Again, they occur at every lunar eclipse, at the beginning and end of the eclipse, where the sun is rising and sun is setting. And it's, again, you can predict it with the spherical Earth model. There are two factors going in, and this is the one factor people don't talk about it much, is the fact that the sun is not a point source of light. The moon is not a point as well, and the Earth's shadow definitely is not a point. They all have physical extent, and so even without atmospheric refraction, you still have the situation where the sun can be seen briefly, and the partially eclipsed moon can be seen briefly. It only lasts for a minute or two, and then it's over. The sun rises and the moon sets, or vice versa. It's not like it's sitting there for 20 minutes or an hour or so. It's very misleading when people talk about these selenelians. It's evidence to me that the Earth is spherical. It's no evidence against the spherical Earth at all that you can see selenelians sometimes.
Can I touch that topic? So Bing previously had said, just a couple comments ago, why would the behavior of lights in the sky have anything to do with the shape of the ground? Then says lunar eclipses happen with both sun and moon above the horizon. Wait a second, these are lights in the sky. Make up your mind. This is the common double standard. This is dishonesty, and when I see this type of dishonesty, I know where this type of dishonesty comes from. The Bible tells us who is the father of lies.
Okay, so
hold on. Let me just.
Yeah, okay.
To your point, we can use the globe to predict where you will see the selenelian. This is where the globe predicts you will see the selenelian for the last eclipse that we just saw. That's the sunrise, and here's the sunset globe prediction. So I ask again to the flat earthers, where is the flat Earth prediction for where the selenelian will be seen? And I never get an answer. They cannot use their own model, this one right here, to predict where the selenelian will be seen or not. So there's another double standard of evidence. Where does that double standard come from? I know where it comes from.
Now, both Bing and Candace Everett have brought up the Saros cycle, and the flat earthers seem to be convinced that we use the Saros cycle to predict eclipses. This is false. That's not the method we use. It hasn't been the method for at least 3 centuries. The method we use to predict both lunar and solar eclipses is based upon a spherical Earth. That's fact. If you don't want to accept that fact, that's fine. I've written about this. It's a detailed description. But if you even go to the NASA eclipse website that they have, they will give you the Besselian elements of each one of those eclipses. And those Besselian elements are based upon the upon the spherical Earth being the model for it. So when flat earthers tell you that we use a Saros cycle to predict eclipses, that's false. It's a lie. maybe if you repeat that lie, not knowing it's a lie, then it's not really a lie on your part. But once you've been told the truth and you persist in saying the Saros cycle is how we predict eclipses, then it is a lie because you should know better at that point.
Bing, out of curiosity, and Grant is in here now on our Zoom. Feel free to make comments. Bing or Grant, I'm just throwing it out here. If you'd like to join us for just a couple minutes and make a couple cases, I'm happy to invite you on. I want to get through more of the actual scientific evidence used in supposed favor of the flat Earth, and ask Mctoon and ask Danny, how do you explain that? But I really do. I want us to come to some conclusions here rather than just talk past each other. The other thing I would ask is, if you want to, just write in the comments yes if you'd like to talk, and you'd have to have a microphone or whatever you're using, and I can invite you to talk. But I'm assuming you're going to keep it civil as well, because if you don't keep it civil, then I just got to mute you, and it wasn't worth bringing you on here. So if you want to come on, I'd be happy to do that. Most of what we're dealing with, Mctoon and Danny, right now are just are evidences from science. There's a whole nother way to look at this, and that's through the scripture. And so I don't mind doing both of those, but let's stick with the science for right now, just while we're here. Grant's looking for you. Got it. Okay, Grant, I'm just gonna ask you to, did I get you right there? Yeah, so you can unmute, and we should be able to hear you right now, Grant, if you unmute your mic. It should, on Zoom there, let you unmute. Let me know if you have any problems.
Hi there.
With that. Hey, Grant. Pleasure to meet you. My name's Eric. I got Danny and I got Mctoon here. How you doing?
I'm doing okay. Yeah, I've
Good.
heard a
Thanks
lot about me. Oh, I'm sorry.
I was just say thanks for jumping on social and then jumping at, going through all the hoops to get over here and be live with us on Zoom. I appreciate you making that effort, man.
Yeah. Yeah, this is it's not normal that I see like y'all talking to actual flat earthers. And there are flat earthers that have been waiting to get onto y'all's platform and other people's platforms, and we have been rejected so much.
Let me pause right there if it's okay, Grant.
Okay.
And just let them respond to that. Danny, I know you've been to many of the flat Earth the conferences.
I've been to one Oktoberfest. That was in 2024, I believe, and I went to the three Flat Earth International conventions in 2016, 17, 18, or 17, 18, and 19. All three in the United States. I did not go to the one in Canada. And I met many of the speakers and heavy hitters in the movement. I met many of the troops in the field and made some friends there, by the way. Had a good time for the most part. So I've actually interacted with quite a few flat earthers direct, face to face, and also through internet and such.
Mctoon, what's your experience on having conversations with flat earthers?
I have an open invitation to debate flat earthers every week on my channel on Tuesdays usually, but I have a flexible enough schedule that I can do other things. I'm happy to go on other places. I've debated on Modern Day Debate, which is a debate platform. I've met many in person. I went to the 2019 conference myself. But yeah, if anybody wants to present their scientific evidence for the shape of the Earth, Mctoon at mctoon.net, and we can set up a live debate on YouTube.
Hey, Grant, let me ask you, I'm just curious your thoughts on this. Do you feel like we're just talking past each other? You're like, no, I've got a case I want to make, and you guys aren't listening, and you're having to talk past because we're not listening, and we feel like we got a case to make, and you're not listening, and we're talking past. Do you feel like we're talking past each other? Or how do you view the conversation that needs to or is trying to take place? How do you view it right now?
Well, I feel that we're you guys have pushed many logic fallacies, and because of that, it has confused people into believing something about flat Earth that isn't true. And that's what I would like to cover. But okay. I do feel like we have been run over. Yes.
Let me ask you this, Grant. How long have you been convinced the Earth is flat? And then, yeah, I'd love to know. I'd like to know, like, what guy, Mctoon, you probably debate this better than I do. As far as I want to make it a conversation, not necessarily a debate. I want to know, Grant, what got you into it? What was it that went, You know what?
The aha movement.
It's got to be flat, because I went down that path and was thinking, have I been lied to? Is this a conspiracy? I mean, because as soon as you go here, all of a sudden, all of NASA and everybody that works there can see, like, there are huge implications that come with accepting flat Earth. You tell me if you agree or disagree, but I'd love to know kind of what was your aha moment or what got you into it.
Yeah. I have. It was the moment whenever I learned the formula for predicting the curvature, and then it's the boats going over the curve. It's 8 miles. It's 8 inches times the mile whenever you square the mile. Okay, and the boats go. You would see the boats going over the curve. This is, this was taught to me in the 3rd grade.
Right. Yep.
And that right there, whenever we were able to take a zoom camera and zoom in on those boats and see water way past the boats, and bring the boat back into full view. That right there was whenever I knew that we were being lied to about the shape of the Earth.
That's probably the one that really got me to go, okay, hold it. Are you serious? Like, we could be wrong about this. I mean, you think about the level of deception that has taken place if that's true. That's a huge level of deception. And just because I'm a Christian and because I know, hey, the Bible says Satan is the father of lies and there's all kinds of lies out there, I'm going, and I trust God's word. This is revelation from God. I'm going, man, if he did that, he's a really good deceiver. Okay, Grant, let's talk just about that. If that's the one, because that's the thing that led me down this path. And then, of course, you get into all the other stuff. Why don't we see flights from here to here? And there's other things. But that, to me, was the big one that got me to go, wait a minute. So let's actually just take that one and talk about that one and talk about both the visual observation, the scientific claims, what each one does claim and what we actually observe. Does that sound good?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Let me apply the Taylor test to Grant. Have you done this test yourself?
Yeah, I've been out and I live near Lake Pontchartrain. And
Okay.
just recently we went to Lake Pontchartrain and we viewed New Orleans across the lake.
All right.
And the flat earther or the globe earther that I was with that day, he said that the water that's in front of New Orleans, it literally does cover half of New Orleans. He says that the water that is covering that half of the bottom half of New Orleans, that is the curvature. That's what he says. But the problem with that, remember I mentioned logic fallacies? That's a logic fallacy called moving the goalpost. You see, we can see past boats going over the curve. We can see past that. But then whenever you look across the 23-mile Lake Pontchartrain, and you see the water covering half of the city, okay, it's like all of a sudden, why is it covering half the city? Well, they moved the goalpost. Okay, what you need at that point is a better magnification, better telescopic magnification lens, and you got to have, like, the water needs to be as still as a mill pond. I mean, like, the water has to be no waves whatsoever in order to be able to see the bottom half of that city.
So you do have that example then, because you did it yourself. You have the still water example.
Oh no, we don't have that.
Oh, you didn't
no.
do it. Okay, so you didn't.
No.
So to Danny's question, the answer is
haven't.
no. You did not do what you said you needed to do.
Well, so how choppy was it when you did your experiment, Grant?
Well, the waves were, a few inches high, 6 inches high in some cases, and whenever you're looking past that far of a distance, the vanishing point of giant buildings, okay, it's everything. It's the way our eyes work, okay. Everything that we see is in pixelation. It's pixels in our eyes and the way our brain works with our eyes and that sort of thing, and everything shrinks the further away you are from the object. It appears to be smaller and smaller the further you get, and then whenever it moves towards the horizon line, and the closer it gets to that horizon line, its Something about the horizon makes it just it's the vanishing point of perspective. It makes it you where you cannot see it anymore with the naked eye, and you've got to have that telescopic lens to be able to see past it. And that's what happened with boats over the curve. Now we're dealing with the same thing at Lake Pontchartrain with an even farther distance, trying to make out the bottom of that city and the New Orleans skyline across the lake. And it's just once it gets so small, it appears to vanish into the horizon, and it creates the illusion of the water blocking half of the city, essentially.
Grant, how
Can
far?
you see the? You can see the pictures? I just pulled up. I just want people to see this,
Right.
so we know
Well,
what we're
I
talking. Is
wonder-
this accurate? What I'm looking at here? What you're talking about?
Lake Pontchartrain?
Yeah.
Yes, I've been out there at Lake Pontchartrain. I
How,
can confirm many of these images.
How far away were you from New Orleans?
Across Lake Pontchartrain is about 23 miles.
And how much drop should there be in 23 miles?
There should be approximate. I don't have the numbers in front of me. It should be half the city. What we're seeing is the approximate drop. Okay.
So what was your elevation of observation?
It was only about right above the water, maybe 6 feet, 8 feet above the water.
Okay,
Because
well,
we had some rocks, that we couldn't stand on, and we couldn't get right up to the water.
I'm looking at the photo that Eric just put up, and
Okay.
I'm seeing the tops of the buildings, but I'm not seeing the bottoms of the buildings. I'm not seeing street level at all.
Yeah, that's right. It's something about whenever it gets close enough to the horizon, the vanishing point of perspective. Okay, this is something that you learn in art class.
There, just to be clear, there's no such thing as a vanishing point in science. It's just an art term.
Yeah, I was about to say that. Yeah, it's not taught in science class.
Because it's not science. It's art.
Well, the thing is it's observable. All right. You can watch something as it goes far enough and it vanishes out of your eyesight. You can't see it anymore. It gets so small that you can't see it anymore.
Too small to see.
But then whenever you bring a telescope, go ahead.
Like the cells on your hand, right? Your hand has cells on it. You can't see the cells in your hand because it's too far to see. With your eyeballs, right? You can't resolve that detail. It's not too far to see, but your eyeballs can't resolve that detail. That's the same thing. So when something's far away, you can't see it because it's too small. No amount of zoom has ever in all of history brought back something that was obstructed by the horizon. So I want to make it clear for the audience. The claim that he made earlier about zoom bringing things back is 100% false. It's part of the flat earth lie doctrine that flat earthers constantly say, but can never substantiate.
So Grant, just so I'm clear, you believe that, like on this image I'm showing right now, you believe that if you had a powerful telescope 6 feet off the water, you could zoom in and you could see the streets of New Orleans. Is that kind of what, in your mind, that's what you're thinking right now?
Yes, and we have done this on other lakes, and we have done this on icy, cold, frozen lakes that are frozen over. And
okay.
Go ahead.
I was going to ask, have you guys taken into account the different concepts of when it's taken, how light is refracted, things like that? Because I get it. There is light will refract around. There's science around that. You would not argue with the science around the fact that an atmosphere could refract light. You would agree with that or disagree with that?
The refraction is of the light going around the curvature of the earth. That is an issue of faith. You see, the reason refraction.
I'm not talking.
I'm sorry.
Grant, I'm not talking about I'm not talking about like glow. I'm just talking about basic science of refraction. You get a prism, I can shine light through, and it bends the light. I mean, you can do that like on a tabletop experiment. The concept of refraction, you're not disagreeing with that. I get it. You're saying, hey, I don't think that happens. That's not what's happening when you're looking at this or when you're seeing something far away, but would you agree that light refraction is something that happens or no?
yeah, light refraction does happen. That's the concept of the power. There are power lines that they use that they transfer light and across long distances. What are those called? Fiber optic cables. And that is, that can light bends through those fiber optic is able to bend and run through those fiber optic cables.
It's not how fiber optic
and
cables work.
well, the general concept, the general idea of light bending is they use light to transfer messages and signals through those fiber optic cables.
Yeah, but that's not bending light. That's total.
Right. That's light going straight and following the medium, but it's different if the light exits that medium, it refracts. And that example of the fiber optic cable is not an example of light bending. That's following a path. We're talking about light actually refracting as it goes through a lens and actually coming out at a separate angle. Does that distinction make difference?
Is the fiber optic cable, is that not a lens that the light travels through?
No, it's a medium that it travels through. It's
a medium. A lens would be a medium, wouldn't it?
Well, here's the distinction. A medium you're going into and out of. This fiber optic cable, you're going in one end flat and you're going out the other end flat.
You're staying inside the medium. You're not leaving the medium.
Does that distinction help make it? Like if I had a lens right here and
are you saying that fiber optic cables never bend?
No, we're saying that in order for refraction to occur,
it has to exit the fiber optic cable.
You have to go from one medium to another where the speed of the wave, in this case light, is different. But if it's constrained to stay inside of that fiber optic cable, it's never leaving the medium. So therefore, there's no refraction taking place.
Let me give you an example. If I had a hose, and I put my finger over the end of the hose to make it spray out at the end, where I can fan it out as I'm spraying. While the water's in the hose, it stays in that perfect laminar flow right there. As soon as it exits, it's entering the atmospheric medium, and now it can potentially it will change because it's changing the medium.
Let me get back to what you saw in New Orleans, though. With a spherical Earth, we would expect to see the top, even without refraction. We would expect to see the tops of the buildings, but not the bottoms of the buildings.
Did you literally just do the math on this?
No, I didn't. I was just noodling around. The thing is, if we that's what we see. We see the tops of the buildings and not the bottoms of the buildings. So I don't understand how that observation disproves the Earth being spherical.
Well, he's saying that if we could zoom in on this image and we had a telescope right there at that time, we'd actually see it.
No, you would not.
Don't forget, the water needs to be extremely flat also. The water even a 1-inch wave could possibly block the bottom of that city. But go ahead.
So now I'm curious, why would you say a 1-inch wave would block the bottom of that city?
Because you can have a object that you're looking at, and as it gets smaller and smaller, the further away it gets, okay, it's able to be refracted by objects that are in front. It's not refracted. I'm sorry, obstructed by objects that are in front of it. And whenever that object that you're looking at, whenever it gets small enough, it can be obstructed by extremely small objects. You see,
but also if the wave is really close to you, but a lot of these waves are going to be 50, 100 feet out in the water, in which case that's not going to matter because they're tiny little waves.
The further it goes,
they
the less
too are going to appear
matters.
Smaller as they get farther away from you.
Right. So
but again,
but you know about parallax trigonometry, right?
Of course.
Okay. So parallax, we're dealing with. If you try to look at a star in the sky,
you don't understand parallax trigonometry. Everybody knows this for sure.
Kent Hovind explained parallax trigonometry. Kent Hovind explained parallax trigonometry, and I understand what Kent Hovind taught.
That's my dad. He gave a very simplistic understanding of parallax trigonometry to talk about the distance to stars.
So he's not here to defend himself.
Right, but I'm just it's just my dad. But I'm saying and he taught trig. He taught all that and could go into a lot more detail. You taught the physics, you taught the trig, you taught the calculus. You understand how it works.
But again, let me get back to my point is that
hang on. My point was just because you heard my dad on a video explain how we see stars at distant starlights using parallax trigonometry doesn't mean it's I mean, it can go deeper than that.
Yeah.
That's all.
The get back to the point is on a spherical Earth, we would expect to see the top of the buildings with some obstruction caused by the curvature of the Earth, even without refraction taking place. And that's what we see. Now, you said, well, you zoom in, you're going to see more of it, and it brings it back into view. And that's the claim that's often made. And I earlier referred to those experiments that some flat earthers do. They have the coin sitting at the back of a table, and they put the camera lens down near the edge of the table, and they can't see the bottom of the coin. But then when they zoom in, suddenly the coin magically comes into view. Do you understand what I'm talking about? Have you seen those videos?
Yes, sir.
And I showed those pictures with the wiffle balls, or the wiffle ball before. Did you see those photographs I was talking about?
No, I did not see the wiffle. I don't know what a wiffle ball is.
Okay, so it's like a plastic baseball with some holes in it. Let me put those back up again. I've got here a picture of I took this in my basement. I put the camera there at the base of the table. Can you see the wiffle ball sitting on the table?
I'm looking at this on my cell phone. Let me.
Okay. Well, I'm telling you, you won't be able to see the wiffle ball.
Oh yeah, no. Hey, thanks for sticking with us on this.
And here is another image I took. Now you can see. You see that little white thing to the right of
Put
that
your
great
mouse over it, because he'll
right here.
Okay.
That little white. That's the top of the wiffle ball. Now in the earlier picture, it didn't show up because it's right there, but it's not visible. Here's the next photograph. Let me take you to the. I'll take you to the fourth photograph. I'll skip the one in the middle. I'll go to another one here, and now you can see more of the wiffle ball, and then I will take you to this last one, and you're going to see more of the wiffle ball. Okay, so there's most of the wiffle ball. There's a little less. There's barely any, and there's less and less, and finally none at all. Now, do you understand what's going on here at all? Does it seem like a mystery to you?
Is that on the table?
Yeah, I did not move the camera between these photographs. All I did was I changed the size of the lens, the diaphragm inside the lens. I made
aperture.
The aperture on the camera, I made it larger. This is with a small aperture. This is a little larger, and this is a little larger, and this is a little larger, and this is a little larger. Now, what I did is I carefully positioned the camera lens so that the center of the camera lens was just below the tabletop.
If you can see us. So all you're doing is imagine this is your tabletop.
Yeah.
You got your camera lens. If you're right in the center here,
but put it a little below that.
And then just a little bit low.
That's where I have it right there. And then that one photograph where you can't see the ball at all, that's how it was taken, because the diaphragm shrank down and none of the light from that ball was reaching the lens.
And that's, if you've ever seen when you open the aperture on this, you've seen the lens like open and close on the lens. You're literally watching. So if the lens is closed really tight, a very small aperture in the center right there, and you have it this tabletop just above halfway, just above the center, you're not going to see light. But then as you open the aperture up, that same position, now you'll see that ball.
Light from the ball will actually reach it where it couldn't before. You're not moving the lens at all, not moving the camera, you're not moving the table or anything. All you're doing is changing the diaphragm. Now, this is the trick. This is the real trick here. When you've got the camera with not zoom, but wider lens, wider view, the diaphragm is going to be tiny. And these are done with videos. So as you zoom, what will happen is the diaphragm has to open, has to let more light in, because you're spreading the light out more and more when you do a zoom, and you need more light. Otherwise, the video would just go dim. Your camera does it automatically. So when flat earthers make these videos with the coin you can't see, and then you magically zoom in and get it, it's not bringing not magically bringing the coin in. What it's doing is it's allowing light to reach the top of the lens, which it wasn't before. That's the trick, the diaphragm. And if you position the camera lens with the center right at the edge of the table or a little above, you will not get that effect at all. None. That just won't happen. So these little videos they do about trying to demonstrate how zooming will bring a distant object into view is false. It's really false. The object is either above the horizon, in the case of New Orleans across Lake Pontchartrain, it's either above the horizon or it's not. If it's not above the horizon, you can't zoom it in and bring it in. That's a simple fact of the matter, knowing how cameras work. And again, when flat earthers do these videos with the coin on the table, I have to question if they just stumbled upon this or if somebody intentionally did it, knowing what they were doing, and they're passing it off on people because people watching don't know. But I know the trick. I've replicated myself with these wiffle balls. Again, I'll go back over those pictures. It's just I'll show them again. This is with the aperture wide open, like it would be if you were zooming. And then these others are like what it would be without any kind of zoom put on it at all. The thing is, when you use a video camera, the diaphragm does it automatically, and you're not aware it's doing it. And it's all the trick is where you put the center of the camera lens.
Mctoon, let me ask you go ahead, Grant. Go ahead.
Yeah, the thing I'd like to
my whole
point out
point is that when they say you can zoom these things in, that's simply false. Well, optics doesn't work that way.
Oh yeah, you're saying that they have to open up the shutter.
The diaphragm.
Yeah, they have to open up the diaphragm. Okay. Yeah, so whenever you open it up more, automatically, it allows more light in, and you're able to see further and further, right?
Because the light that was not reaching the center of the camera lens before is reaching the edge, and now we're making it to the sensor on the camera.
Right.
So it's a bit dishonest.
You can see more and more. Oh, I'm sorry.
It's dishonest to then claim that that's what's going on when you zoom in on a distant ship on the horizon. The tabletop
but the thing is, you can see more and more of the ball, right?
I can see the ball because it's reaching the part of the lens that's up high, and it's able to reach it. If you put the camera lens
table. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Does that table have any curvature at all?
No, it's a flat table.
Okay, it's completely flat table. So because of the way the lens works, you're unable to see the ball.
Because I intentionally placed the center of the lens below the edge of the table.
Okay.
So when I start off it's not going to allow any light from the ball to get there.
Yeah, that's no problem, and that's a great observation. The thing is, okay, you're looking over. The table's completely flat. Yes. So whenever you raise the camera, all right, the vanishing point, it goes out even further. It goes out like really far whenever you get high enough. And the vanishing point, I mean, like it gets to the point where if you shoot a rocket up, you can see out for hundreds, maybe even thousands of miles before that vanishing point, before that vanishing point gets so small that you can't see it anymore. So, but whenever you lower it down to this flat surface that you're trying to see that wiffle ball, the vanishing point is the angle of the light. Okay, the parallax trigger. There's an angle that you're able of light that you're able to see right there that goes to a vanishing point, and you're looking and it's just a really great point that the surface that you're looking over is not curved. It's being obstructed by a completely flat surface.
No, that's not how perspective works at all. That's wrong.
The problem is
curved.
Your camera lens is not below the your camera lens is. He was talking about the trick they do on the table to try to convince people of these things. Where
now,
the trick
it's not a trick. This is actual science. Same thing we do at a lake.
Hey Grant, here's what I was saying. He was referring to the experiment with a quarter, or in his case, the ball on the table, and he was talking about the trick that they would purposely put, because it doesn't work at every position. You would purposely put the camera center of camera lens just below the I'll call it the flat top of the table. So he's talking about that perspective difference. And they use that to try to convince people of flat Earth. That's different than having your camera above the lake and still not seeing the bottom of New Orleans.
Okay, can I say this? All right. It's a fact that you could stand on the beach and watch the sunset, and then if you were able to go up on an elevated platform, you could watch a sunset again. If you go up higher, you can watch the sunset again.
I've seen the sunset twice myself. I've seen the sunset more than once.
Okay.
Yeah,
but you understand what I'm saying is that the closer you get to the water, the horizon line, it is not as far away as it appears to be the higher you get.
On a
Does that make
spherical
sense?
Earth.
That's hey
On a
Grant.
spherical Earth,
Hang on
not
just
on
a
a
second.
flat Earth.
I know. I was gonna say.
No,
I think.
no, it's the
I think
same
you
thing
might
on
have
a
just
flat
made.
Earth. The
I think
horizon
you might have
line
just made our.
is on a flat Earth also.
But I think you just might have made our point
He
that
did.
hey, if you're down here and you see the sunset on a globe Earth, you see the sunset. You go higher, you'll see it again. You go higher, you'll see it again. That's all based on a curved Earth.
Well, the flat
a
Earth
globe.
has that. Flat Earth has that problem also because of the vanishing point of perspective.
No, the flat Earth.
It's not
The
a
flat
thing.
Earth. If you're here and the sun moves away from you, going higher, the distance going higher isn't going to help you see the sunset again, because it's it's just simply, if it's flat, it's just simply a distance thing. So if this is your eye and you see the sun, you know, I'm sure you see the sun getting further and further away, and it gets so far away that it quote sets and you don't see it anymore. But on flat Earth models, it's still Grant 3,000 from what I've heard, 3,000 miles in the air, even though I know there's not an exact number there, 3,000 miles in the air, and it's just getting further and further away. So going
Yeah,
higher,
that's true.
going higher doesn't change the distance you are from it. So it shouldn't give you another sunset by going higher. The fact that when you go higher, you see the sunset again can only work if it's going down around the curve. Does that make sense?
That is based upon your faith in NASA. You see.
No. Hey,
So
hang on just a second.
NASA.
No, Grant.
Go ahead.
Cameras have been
Time
around
out.
longer than
Time out.
NASA.
I didn't bring up NASA. All I'm saying is you said if I'm at sea level, if I go to my beach right here in Pensacola, or I come over to New Orleans and we watch a sunset and we go up higher in elevation, we'll see it set again. And I've done this with my drone. I like, oh man, it's set. I've taken my drone 1,600 feet up and I'm like, dude, I can watch it set again. I can have the drone follow the sunset. You're right on that. That's an accurate statement. What I'm saying is on a flat Earth model, the sun is just getting further from you. Height doesn't help you see it better. If the sun is up here and it's getting further and further away because the sun's going like this, right? It's going around our perspective. The sun getting further and further and further from you, height does not give you another sunset.
Well, if you lower the camera, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, bud.
I do have something I want to say. If you lower the camera, okay, the horizon line appears the horizon appears to rise to eye level whenever you lower the camera.
That's a lie.
The horizon line isn't as far away, okay, because I'm talking about the optical horizon, not a physical horizon, okay. The optical horizon, what it appears to be, the vanishing point, okay, you can go to the beach and you could get down to the water and the sun will appear to set, and then you stand up. All right, and it might have to be a little bit higher than just standing up. You might have to, but if you elevate, you can watch the sunset again. But the point is, you can go down to the water, to the water level, and you can watch the sunset, and then you could stand up and watch. And I don't know if 6 feet tall is enough to see the sunset again. But you elevate, and then you can watch the sunset again. You see. So the horizon line at the water level is way closer than the horizon line if you're standing up. If you're standing up, the horizon line is way closer than if you elevate again. Does that make sense?
No. Tune, go ahead.
Okay.
I think it's really important to go back to something he had said earlier, right? All this about optics, it's clearly Grant does not actually understand the optics. He's constantly talking about the optics of the human eye, but these photographs are not taken with the human eye; they're taken with cameras. And cameras, the optics of cameras have been known since long before NASA. I don't know what brought NASA into it, but this is important. Here's my own photo that I took in Pensacola, right there on Fort Pickens, on the southern edge of Pensacola Beach, and you can see there is a boat in the middle.
Yep.
Right, and so this is taken with the P1000. So this is zoomed out. Right.
All right.
And now I zoomed in about halfway, and you can see the boat. It looks like it's a fishing boat. The entire hull is missing, all of it.
No problem.
And I zoomed in. But it's the same amount. The same amount here
You see all
and
the
here
waves in that water?
is obstructed. Just wait. The waves aren't doing it. And then I zoomed in all the way, and the exact same amount is shown. Now, when flat earthers claim that zoom brings things back from beyond the horizon, I just tested that and I showed that it's false. This is this is super important in a religious claim, right? I don't talk about this on my channel because my channel's a science channel, but this is a lie. Flat earthers repeat from the flat earth leaders who are not generally Christians. Eric DeBay, he's not a Christian. He rejects Christ. Flat Earth Dave, not a Christian. He's a non-practicing Jew. The people that were the beginning leadership of Flat Earth, not Christians. Now, these are lies that they have begun to tell, and that Flat Earth Christians have taken up and repeated the lies.
Rob Skiba was a Christian.
Where are these lies from? These lies are from the father of lies. No amount of Zoom has ever brought anything back. And if you're going, I don't care. It's a lie.
Well, Rob
we'll
Skiba
talk.
was a Christian.
Hey, Grant. Hey, we're granting you that. I get that. I realize he claims Christianity, but what he's saying is the founders of this. I think we would say Rob Skiba, just like we would say you. I mean, I don't know if you claim to be a Christian, but if you do, that's great. If you don't, I'd love to talk to you about that. That's more important than flat Earth around.
I am saved.
Okay, so even with you, we're saying a lot of the leaders and the starters of this movement were not. We're not saying that no Christian has been duped, because I think a lot of Christians have been duped by this. So understand that.
Yeah, the early leadership, including Eric Dubay, Mark Braun, Math Powerland, not Christians. These are the founding people in the early days of YouTube Flat Earth. Anyway, they're the ones that claim early on that Zoom brings things back, but you can see right here Zoom did not bring it back, and the waves don't do it, because you will never bring up an example of Zoom bringing something back, and you saying that claiming that you need to have flat water, smooth water, no waves. Well, you don't have that either. You don't have the example that you think that you have in your head, that you think exists because you've been told over and over and over that exists. You don't have it. They don't exist. I ask constantly in live debates, people like, oh, I have it. They don't have it. I ask for it live. They're like, oh, I'll send it to you later. You know what I never have gotten later? I've never later gotten an example where part of an object, a boat or a building, was obstructed by the surface of the water, and then Zoom revealed more of it. Never once has happened.
How is that possible? How's that possible? Because
it's on you.
We
you made
do
the
this
claim.
we have these examples all the time.
All right, let's see it.
You want me to show you it right now?
Yes,
I would,
now. Or send it to me
need-
later.
I would need-
Mctoon@m.net. But I know, just like every other time I've asked this question for the last 8 years, you will never show it to me. You will.
Hey,
not
Grant, this
send
is
it
interesting
after the
because
fact.
he's saying, hey, we've never seen. Are you thinking in your mind of something that you might have seen online that you're like, no, I think I have seen one of these? Is that what makes you so confident?
Yes, I have memes on my phone. I have I have videos saved to playlists of these examples
that show you zooming in and bringing something that is, quote, beyond the horizon back into view.
Right.
No,
and
hold on.
now
partially
the difference
obstructed.
is
No, let's make it clear. The globe claim is partially obstructed. You can see the top, you cannot see the bottom. That's the globe saying the curve is blocking the bottom of the boat or the object.
And
That's
I've
the
got
claim.
a
So
Grant, I've got
show
an
that
example
video.
for you whenever you're done.
okay. I want to make the point. The original claim was made hundreds of years ago that boats go over the curve. You watch the boat go over the curve with your naked eye. Okay, the boat goes and then it disappears bottom first, and and that's what it looks like and that's what we are taught in school. And I got taught this in the 3rd grade. Whenever I was taught the difference between flat Earth and the globe, I got taught this in my school, and the boat this vanishes Bottom first, and then it covers the whole boat, or the whole boat goes behind the curve, and that's what we are taught that we see with our naked eye, and then you take a telescopic lens, okay, the P1000. You take the P1000 and you zoom in back in where that boat was, and then you can see the whole boat again and water beyond it.
Okay,
I-
You see?
I
Now
think-
that's the difference. You're not
Never
looking at
happened.
the boat through the camera
That has never
to
happened.
start. You use the camera after the boat has disappeared from your naked eye. You see,
Right, so it
no,
seems-
okay, go ahead.
Grant, I would like to, would you put my screen up?
Yeah, and let me go back to, I think what Toon just showed us in his images zooming in, he showed from a distance, you see this much, you zoom in, you still see that much, you zoom in, you still see that much. The zoom did not bring something, show you more of the bottom of the boat. Now, Danny actually did it with a telescope. He actually did this with a telescope on the water so you could see this. Check this out.
So
have to tell the story
here's
of
a
this.
container ship. I took this at Virginia Beach almost 9 years ago.
Yeah, so that's a big boat.
And
Yeah.
you see the containers. You see the NYK line there. Those letters do not go to the water line. They're above the water line. So obviously something is blocking the bottom of those letters.
waves.
Here's another photo. Well, those more than just the waves. Here's another photograph, a little dimmer, and you can see they're blocked a little more. Now here's another one, and they're completely gone. And here's another one, and then the ship. There you can't even see any of the hull at all anymore.
All you see is the cargo on top.
And it turned, and then as it turned, only the white superstructure was left.
Well,
So
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Okay, so what you're observing here is the boat moving away from you and getting so far away that it is moving into the vanishing point of perspective. The boat is getting smaller
that's not,
and
that's,
it
that's,
appears
No
to.
such thing.
I'm sorry. What?
that's
Go ahead.
that's not the way it works. And you want me to
No,
zoom in on this?
Can you tell me why we are observing the boat getting smaller and smaller and smaller? Why are you disagreeing with me?
I'm not disagreeing. It appears smaller. It is getting smaller, but you're getting blockage, not from the left, not from the right, not from the top, but only from the bottom are you getting blockage. Now, don't tell me to zoom in on this because I used a telescope with a 1300 millimeter focal length.
Well,
that's 2.5 times the focal
that's
length.
okay.
That's 2.5 times. That's 2.5 times the focal length of the Nikon, the P 900.
Oh.
I've already gone 2.5 times what the P900 can do, and you can see there's still a lot of blockage.
Okay.
And
I'm sorry.
It's okay. Hey, Grant, as he moves away, go back to moving away. The ship, obviously, it turns. It's going to go whatever direction it needs to go, so he can just simply take pictures. I'm looking at this photographic evidence going, hey, this was taken with that telescope on the beach. It's looking out. You cannot see the bottom of the ship. All you see is that engine stack. The hull is gone.
the
as it goes
containers are
away.
gone.
The containers are gone. So you're literally watching exactly what you learned in third grade as a ship goes over the horizon, as it goes around the earth, as it moves away, it's going to drop further and further because of our perspective. So I'm curious, based on this, what the concept that it's just a, I don't know, would you call it an optical illusion that we're not seeing the bottom of the boat or what?
You took this picture with the camera, or is this picture zoomed in, or is it not zoomed in?
It's with a 1300 millimeter focal length.
So this
That
is with
is
a
a-
telescope.
That is
So-
a whale of a zoom lens. It's
okay.
2.5 times the
So
zoom
you're
of
zooming
the.
this in, right?
It's
No, this is not zooming in on it. This is taking pictures as it moves away using
Now,
a
you remember
telefixed.
what I said? Do you remember what I said? It's a difference of watching it with the naked eye. Okay, this is what we were taught in the third grade. We watch the boat disappear with our naked eye. All right. And they didn't talk about having cameras or zoom lens or anything like that, watching the boat disappear. We could see the boat with our naked eye disappear off into the distance. And they said that was going behind the curvature of the earth. and this and it's interesting also the shape of
And
the
Grant,
Earth,
let me
the
just
size of the
clarify.
Earth. I'm
Grant,
sorry. Go
let me
ahead.
clarify. So you're saying your new understanding is it's not that
No,
it's
no.
going over the curvature. You're saying your new understanding is just gets so small that we can't see it. Is that what you're trying to communicate? Is that what you're saying? Like, I did learn it went over the curvature. Now I believe it gets so small I can't see it. Is that what you're communicating?
Oh yeah. The new understanding is that the boat is just getting so small that we can't see it anymore.
Okay,
That's exactly
so
what I'm saying. Right.
that's why I'm showing these pictures right here that were
Okay.
taken with a telescope. And all it is taking photos as the boat travels away from you. And all this is doing is it's similar to the naked eye, except you're just looking at the eye, using your eye to look through a lens, so you have an even better eye. You have something that can see even further than the naked eye. And when we see even further than the naked eye, we realize this boat didn't just get smaller. It actually went down. That's why, go back to those pictures.
But you got to
These are
remember
all
the
taken
dimensions
as-
of the Earth. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, hang on just a second. You did not zoom the telescope in. It's a fixed. It's a fixed.
It's a fixed focal length, and all of these photos were taken at the same focal length. The only thing I changed was the ISO and the exposure times. Same focal length. There's no zooming going on. I'm zoomed out 2.5 times more than what the P900 can do. And this is
Okay.
what I see when it's fairly close, farther away, farther away, farther away, farther away, farther away. And it seems to me that it's getting smaller and it's disappearing from the bottom, which is what
Now,
we're talking about.
now don't forget that the water, it's not extremely flat. There's waves between you and the boat. And
But
the
the waves are
waves
not that tall.
between well, the
waves
waves
aren't tall
between
enough.
you and the boat can obstruct the bottom of the boat. And
No, they can't.
smaller the boat appears, the more of the boat those waves will obstruct because the
So,
boat
okay,
actually
question.
appears smaller in the distance. Go ahead.
Okay, Grant, question for you. So, in his first image, okay, so this image, for example, you don't have much quote. If we're going to call the waves being what obstruct the boat, if we're going to say that's it, then that's all that they should obstruct. If we say, hey, this is not over the horizon, these are the waves obstructing the bottom of the boat because you don't see the bottom of the boat touching the water, and we're going to say that's the waves causing that. Okay, let's just say that's true. Here's the problem. As the boat moves further away, you would expect it to look exactly the same because the waves, as the boat continues to go past other waves, the further away those waves are, the smaller they look to us, just like the boat looks smaller. So that is your baseline right there. What you're looking at is your baseline for how much the waves should cover. Based on what you're saying, that's all they should cover. And as it moves further away on a flat Earth, you will see that same baseline. But what we observe is we observe it not doing that. We observe it seeing less and less hull, then less and less containers, and then finally only the very top of that white centerpiece right there. Does that?
Yeah, but
could you
okay, we see this boat right here. Can you forward to the last picture? Now look how small that boat looks. The boat looks smaller and smaller and smaller. Okay,
But
and
hang
we're
on.
not taking you're not taking these pictures over a surface that is absolutely 100% completely flat. There are waves between you and that boat.
But remember, the
go ahead.
amount that the waves obstructed would be the exact same in the first picture and in the last picture. Yes, the boat would be smaller, but the amount of obstruction would be the same. And here you can see the amount of obstruction continuously as you flip through these. It continuously gets more and more and more obstruction. That would not happen just because of waves. That's what I'm saying. It would only happen with the curvature. And the reason I'm spending so much time on this, and I don't know if my listeners or the people watching are like, this is getting boring. The reason I'm spending so much time on this is because, Grant, this is the very thing, this is the very argument that made me go, man, maybe it is flat. And when I really understood, hey, it is actually, it's not just waves. When I did the research and I went, it's not just waves obstructing, it's actually going around a curve. It's not waves obstructing. I went, oh, the very thing that made me want to believe flat Earth. Now I realize, oh, it's not as simple as that. So that's why I'm spending so much time on this with you and just going, hey, let's talk this one out. Let's be patient on this.
Okay. I think I have. Okay, so let me just make a final point about this about the boats over the curve, and I think we are at an impasse, and we have to go on to other subjects in order to further be able to explore this. The final point is the vanishing point. That's the point I want to make. The boat is appearing to get smaller and smaller the further it gets. And that is clearly evident in those pictures that you just showed me. All right.
So let
The
me ask you this,
waves.
Grant.
Okay, go ahead.
What do you have to
I'm trying
say?
to make my final points here.
Okay, go
Okay,
ahead. Yeah.
and then we might and then I think we need to explore other
I
subjects
think
on
this
this.
might have to do with your final point, is why I was going to ask. So you
Right.
said it's
Oh, go
getting
ahead. Go ahead.
smaller. It's getting smaller. Agreed. Well, it actually turned sideways. I think you can still see it pretty well. But so we saw it turn sideways. What are your thoughts on the fact that it appears to go lower and lower and lower? That's what I wanted you to address.
Well, there is something about the light. Once it gets smaller and smaller, the vanishing point of perspective, okay, it gets closer and closer and closer to the horizon. And the bottom of that boat is closer to the horizon than the top of that boat. So, and once it gets close enough to the horizon, okay, the bottom of that boat blends in with the what the bottom. Okay, there's the horizon line. Okay, there's what's above the horizon line, then there's what's below the horizon line. And whenever this the pixels, for lack of a better word, whenever the pixels get close enough to that horizon line, they get to the vanishing point of that horizon line, and you simply can't make it out anymore, and that's all you can see is the horizon line.
So
But you can bring it back with a zoom lens if it's
back to the
completely
No,
flat.
you never can. That never happens.
and that's what.
But we
Yeah,
do
that's
that
what.
on a completely flat table.
Stop repeating that lie.
So
You've never brought back a ship that's
now,
over the water with zoom.
But
Never
that's
happened.
what
hey, Grant. Grant,
that
you
goes
just
back to the
said
wiffle balls. Go ahead.
you just said we do that with a table. And that's why we tried to explain the only way to do that with a table is if you put the table, the flat of the table, just above the center line and then change the aperture. What Danny did with this experiment with the telescope, he didn't change the lens he was looking through. One lens. And that lens showed it going down, 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 down. It should have showed it consistently getting smaller, but staying right there where you see the words of the ship. That's what we should have seen. We did not see that. That's what we're saying.
The good thing. Oh, I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, it sounds like what you're communicating is, well, this is the way it comes across. It comes across as, hey, I'm going to say that if we zoomed in again, we'd see the bottom, even though we've got no evidence of that. And the only evidence I have is this table experiment, but that's why Danny went through and said, hey, the only way to make that table experiment work is if you put the center point, or the top of the table just above the center point of the camera lens and then change the aperture. So that's why, and I heard you say that. That's why we're coming back to that going, that the table analogy and the ship analogy doesn't work.
Well, the wiffle ball, okay, so the table is like dropping the camera down to water level. If you put the water, if you put the camera down at the water level,
surface of the water. When you're at the ocean, you still see the surface of the water.
You cannot get to here.
In the example that Danny did, and the example that flat earthers constantly do when they want to deceive people, you cannot see the surface of the table.
Well, the thing is about
start where you see the surface of the table if you want to not deceive people.
Okay. The thing is the table is like bringing the camera down to the surface of the water. It's basically at the table. The table is basically the same thing as bringing that camera down to the surface of the water.
It's not
the same thing. Hey, Grant, hang tight. Hang tight on that thought. Hey, Grant, hang tight. Here's the distinction. And you watch the videos. They're not setting the camera on top of the table.
No problem.
They're setting the table. They're setting the camera off the table and coming down, and they're literally taking that center line and going just past that center line. What you're talking about is I should be able to set the camera on top of the table. That's what we're doing when Danny did this experiment. Oh, there's another boat. Here's
Well,
another one real quick.
This is a part of a PowerPoint presentation. It's in presenter view.
Oh,
Can you show it all?
it's not. It's
It's
showing.
not.
Oh, no, yeah, go. Yeah, go to the next one.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, there we go. Okay, I took this at Fort Hollywood Beach in South Florida a few years ago. And this is a ship that apparently was heading towards Port Everglades. And again, I'm doing these all at the same zoom. It's zoomed in tremendously, 2.5 times what the P900 can actually do. And I can see what I guess to be on the right there, the back of the ship. There's something near the bow of the ship, and then something in between. I can't see the deck. I can't see the hull. I can't see anything. Fully zoomed, all right? Because this thing is not you don't zoom it. It's full 1,300 millimeter focal length, which is, again, the P900 has about a 550 millimeters. So it's two and a half times that. Here's the next time I took a photograph, got a little closer, looks bigger. And now I can see some of the deck in the middle, the bow and the stern. Here's even more of it. And then finally, I can see really the deck and a good deal of the hull. This is the opposite of what I showed you. Here's a ship coming toward me. And I'm seeing progressively more and more and more of it. It's being blocked less and less and less by the water. And you can try to tell me that those puny little waves there are responsible for all that blockage?
yes.
So,
Okay, then there's nothing I can say.
hey,
to you,
Grant,
because
it
it's
sounds
wrong.
like you got a lot of faith in some little bitty waves blocking that entire ship. That's what it sounds like. Because again,
Yeah, we're
the
definitely
wave, hang on, let me finish this.
Okay,
The wave blockage would be the exact same no matter how far the boat travels away from me. So if it comes closer and I see more of it, it's actually coming up into view. Because if it's further away, it would be smaller, but it would block the exact same amount.
There's a lot of hull missing there.
And Toon showed those images. He showed the exact camera you're talking about doing the zoom, and it did not do what you're claiming it should do. That's what we're saying. The scientific empirical evidence does not match what you're saying will happen.
Now, don't forget, okay, the boat going over the curve is with naked eye versus the zoom lens. Whenever you zoom in on it, okay, you're not supposed to be able to see the boat. I mean, you can see a really big boat farther away.
Stop making that wrong claim, Grant.
Well, that's what I was taught in the third grade.
No, the claim is taught in third grade that the bottom of the boat is increasingly obstructed as it goes farther away. That's the claim that goes back to Aristotle.
And that's what I'm saying.
That's exactly what we see, and zoom does not change the amount of bottom-up obstruction, which is the globe claim. This right here is what it looks like far away. The bottom is obstructed. We zoom in, the bottom is obstructed. We zoom in, the bottom is obstructed. The exact same amount, no matter how much zoom. That is the globe claim. So what you've done is you've substituted the actual globe claim with a lie that Flat Earth leadership has manufactured and told you and you believed is the globe claim. It's not the globe claim.
Well, I think we're at an impasse, and we would need to
hang on just a second, Grant.
Look into other subjects. I mean, we can keep going over this.
Well, I'm just saying I don't want to rub your nose in this too much, but at the same time I do, because you're making a claim.
Okay.
I think Toon just said it really well. You're saying the globe claims this, and the right way to say it is actually a different way, but you're repeating what you've heard many, many times. And my dad has said this: if you repeat a lie long enough, loud enough, and often enough, people will believe it. And that, I feel like, Grant, that might be what happened. So I want you to just pause and go, okay. You repeat to us.
I'm sorry.
What is the globe? You repeat to us. What is the globe claim about what's going to happen to the ship with the naked eye? What's the globe claim?
Depending on the size, there's also something. Y'all showing me some really big boats in the distance. Okay. Now that's also
the one Toon showed isn't that big.
Oh, okay. Well,
it's a fishing vessel.
Okay, but a sailboat. All right, the smaller
the
sailboat.
size of the boat doesn't change the optics.
Yeah.
Well, okay. You can watch
the bigger boat actually makes it. The bigger boat actually makes it easier to do the experiment. The bigger the boat, the better the experiment. When you got a boat, if you had a boat that was 600 foot tall and it sailed out, man, you could really do that experiment well. I mean, the bigger the boat, the better the experiment. So we've shown you some large
Right.
boats, not
The
one fishing boat.
Well, what my point is that the smaller boat will appear to go behind the curvature before the bigger boat does. The bigger boat has to go out a lot further before it appears to go behind the curvature.
That is excellent. That now what you just said, Grant, is perfectly consistent with it going around the Earth. The further it goes, the less you're going to see of it. So a larger boat takes a longer time. That's perfect.
Now notice, I am not denying that it appears to go behind the curvature. Okay, that's what it looks like, but that's not what's actually happening.
Okay, so repeat to me, what does somebody who believes it's a globe, what do they claim? What is our claim? I want you to repeat it the way we would say it. What is our claim about what's going to happen to the boat as it goes over the horizon, as it goes around the curve?
Well, the boat goes behind the curve. It goes down. It's slowly moving down the curvature.
Right. So repeat it the way you learned it in third grade. What did you learn in third grade?
Okay, whenever I was in third grade, the boats go away from your eyes, and eventually they go around the curvature. You see the bottom of the boat disappear first, and then you eventually see the top of the boat disappear. Okay, that's what I was taught. Right.
Okay, and that tune, would that be an accurate way of communicating? Yes. As it further gets away, you see the bottom less, then eventually you see the top disappear.
Yep, and the test should be for that.
Right. So we just gave you three different examples of tests.
Now I think you're missing it. Okay. You've got to see it with your naked eye. There's a difference between seeing it with the naked eye versus zooming in. All right. We were taught that with your naked eye, you could watch the boats disappear. The bigger the boat, the longer it takes to disappear because it's just bigger.
Well, I hate to break this news to you, Grant, but if that's what they taught you in third grade, then they were not telling you the truth.
But they were using their naked eye whenever they started teaching this hundreds of years ago.
So hang on, why does it have to be with the naked eye, Grant?
It was
I don't understand why that's a big deal.
Okay, you watch the boat disappear with the naked eye. All right? That's what we were taught in the third grade. You could see the boat disappear. You didn't need a telescope. All right? Now, you go get a telescope, and then you could bring the boat back into full view.
That's the question. Now, we just gave you...
That's the problem. Because we were taught that the boat goes over the curvature with our naked eye, but you can see the boat, you can bring the boat back into full view with the video, with a zoom lens.
Okay, now, but we're giving you video evidence or photographic evidence showing you cannot bring the entire boat back into view when you zoom in. That does not happen. You're saying, hey, with the naked eye, it should disappear, but man, I can actually still see some of it if I get a telescope and I zoom in on it. Well, that makes sense, but you're still only seeing the top of it. So it's actually proving the point. It's actually evidence in favor of what you were taught in third grade.
Now we have to get specific with the dimensions of the Earth. Okay, what is the physical horizon versus the optical horizon? The optical horizon is going to be what you can see with the naked eye. It's going to be the physical horizon, the actual curvature that a boat goes the optical horizon the optical horizon adjusts depending on the distance, but the physical horizon would be what the boat actually goes behind the curvature. That's the physical horizon. That's something that cannot be adjusted. But the optical horizon, you can zoom in and you can see more and more. Okay.
Now,
that's a good thing about the table.
That statement, you just said, if you zoom in, you can see more and more. Toon, can you bring up your image that you just did again? Okay, Grant, here's the claim. You just said, if I zoom in, I can see more and more. Now, are you just saying you can see it bigger and bigger, or are you saying you can see more of the vessel? Which one are you claiming?
Oh, you can see the whole vessel.
Okay.
The entire vessel. Okay. I have examples, but I can't. Hang on just a second. Hey, Grant, up right now.
You don't have.
I know. Hey, Grant, what are your thoughts about what you're seeing
why would
on
you say I
Toon's
don't have
screen?
examples? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well,
I
he's saying
can
they don't
confident-
exist.
I can confidently say that because I've asked for 8 years and no flat earthers ever produced an example where something is obstructed bottom up, and then, which is our claim, the bottom up partial obstruction, and then zoom
Well,
brings
if
it
you-
back. That's
if you will
never
allow
what's
me-
happened. You don't have these examples. My email address is mctoon@mctoon.net. I'll eat my hat. I'll eat crow, whatever the term is. If you can send me the
Well,
video
I would like to-
or the
if-
photos.
I wish
of
I
the-
could show
of
you
Zoom
some-
bringing it back, which you will. I know you won't.
If
do
you
it.
would allow me to look up some examples, I can show you something right now.
I'll look it up for you. I'll share a screen. Tell me where
Oh, okay.
I'm going to look.
All right.
And I also, while I'm looking that up, I wonder, what do you say about Toon's very pictures right there where he does zoom in and you still do not see the bottom of the boat? That's what I don't understand is I'm going, hang on, the claim that you're making, we're showing you photographic evidence that that's not true. What do you say about those photographs?
Okay, I just found the video that I wanted to find. I'm sorry, I was concentrating on finding the video. I just
No
found
worries.
it.
Yeah. What's the name of it? I'll look it up here on go to YouTube.
Okay.
Is that where I'm going?
Okay, it's a 10-minute video.
I'll scrub through it and see the evidence.
Mirror line horizon, EMPY THEA EMPY Princess. I think that's the name of the boat. I think. Okay. And this video is going to show the entire boat coming back into full view.
Okay.
And then it will also show water water beyond the boat. You see, that's the trick. Okay, I don't like using the word trick, but that's the point. All right, you don't zoom in on the boat with your cam. You watch it with your naked eye, and then you get a zoom lens. And then you could bring the boat back into full view. Okay, you don't wait till the boat gets out 10 miles and then try to zoom it in. You bring the camera zoom lens as soon as you can't see it with your naked eye no more. And what is the number that the boat, or the distance that the boat is supposed to disappear over? Okay, that's also another question. All right, the answer to that is somewhere, depending on the size of the boat, somewhere between 3 and 5 miles.
No. That's
No,
once
okay.
again going back to my early thing where I said flat earthers' general claim is the globe predicts, and then a thing that the globe does not predict. This observation doesn't match the thing the globe doesn't predict. Exactly. We wouldn't expect that.
Well,
You
I was
are
always
wrong
taught that boats go over.
No, you are wrong every time that you parrot a flat earther talking about the globe prediction on flat earth. Or on,
Well,
on
I'm
globe
telling you what I
prediction.
remember from third grade.
No, you weren't taught this in third grade. You
Boats
weren't
go over the
taught-
curve in 3 to 5 miles.
No, you weren't. No, that was not taught to you in third grade. You're
I remember being
parroting,
taught that.
You are parroting what other flat earthers have told you to think about what you were taught in third grade. That's not part of third grade curriculum. That it's
Well, to be fair, too,
the
he may
Pythagorean
have,
theorem.
his
Pythagorean
teacher
theorem's
may have
not
actually
taught
said
there.
that, though.
Yeah,
The teacher may
yeah.
have, the teacher sometimes to say things that are not in the curriculum, and that may
That's
very
true.
well happen.
Yeah.
Well, that's the size and dimensions of the Earth. Okay, 8,000 miles in diameter, approximately 8,000 miles in diameter, and 24,000 miles circumference.
Yeah, but you
The
do the
3 to
math
5
wrong.
mile, the 3 to 5 mile mark, that is what the Earth dimensions are
No.
based on.
No, you left out the observer height and you left out atmospheric conditions. That's what flat earthers always do. They never include the observer height and they never include the effects of the atmosphere.
Well, I think we're talking plenty about observer height and effects of the atmosphere. I think that goes into refraction, right?
Yep.
Okay, yeah, we've discussed that a little bit.
Hey, Grant. Okay, I'm curious on your example on this video that we're watching right now on the screen.
Okay.
It zoomed in, and sure enough, at the beginning, I did not notice a boat on the water. Now, I'm
Right.
assuming this is like a 0.5, and yeah, you're not going to see that tiny detail. As it zooms in, I can see the boat, but as it zooms in further and further, I'm not seeing more and more of the boat like you said I would. As you go through this right here, I'm not seeing more and more of the boat. And you said I
Well,
would see.
whenever I saw the video, I could see water beyond the boat. I could see water
I
past
don't see
the
any
boat.
water beyond the boat.
And there's no
Oh,
water
man.
beyond the boat.
You know, are you seeing it? This is the same video you asked me to pull up.
Are you displaying it or not?
Yeah, you're seeing this, right? What I'm sharing? Are you seeing my
mirror
screen?
mirror line horizon, the EMPYTHEA
If you're on Zoom, are
Okay.
you on Zoom? Because I'm sharing the screen of that exact video right now.
Okay. Oh, you're sharing it now? Okay.
Yeah, I
let's see
can.
here.
If you go to Zoom, that's what I'm sharing. Can you see what I'm sharing
Okay.
on Zoom?
I see you guys. Do I have
You
to
have to switch the
select?
switch?
Do I have
He's
to
on,
select
he's
something?
on a phone. It's hard to
Oh
see.
yeah, you got to go to my shared screen. Sorry, I
Okay.
can't.
Well, we're looking at it and we don't see any more of the boat as you zoom in.
Yeah, and Grant, honestly, man, I appreciate. Thank you for being patient. I thank you guys for being patient. I'm genuinely curious about this. I'm going, okay, what's really going to happen here? But as I zoom in, I see the mirror line like they're talking about. I see the water's edge like they're talking about. I don't see water beyond the boat like they claim. I see exactly what we see, where we see less and less of the boat. Were you able to go to my screen share and see that? That's what I'm sharing.
Go to you. I don't know how to get to your screen share.
Oh, okay. Sometimes if you
Wait,
just
wait,
touch
wait,
in
wait,
the
wait. Sometimes
top right
no,
corner.
top right corner. I see a headphone sign in the
Okay,
top
no,
right
it won't be
corner.
that.
I see
Well,
record
we're not
live.
seeing it.
I see 4 squares.
Okay. Well, we're watching the same video that you asked us to. The 4 squares might do it, where it actually
Okay.
pulls this up.
Okay. Now, now let me ask you this. What is your problem with that video? You're watching it. Why is
No
what is the
problem
problem
at
with
all.
that video?
This is solid globe evidence here.
Here's
gold
well,
evidence.
my problem with my problem is with your claim, not with the video. Your claim was if you zoom in, you will see more and more and more of the boat. I did not see more and more of the boat. I saw exactly what Toon showed us when he zoomed in on the. Oh, so you couldn't see Toon zooming in on the fishing vessel either, or did you see
I
that?
probably couldn't.
No, I saw that. I saw
Oh,
that.
you
I
did
don't
see-
see the
okay.
video. I don't see the video that I
Oh, well,
shared with you. That
Are you
I'm
using
not-
OBS?
I'm not sharing
Okay.
my screen. Yeah, I'm using OBS
Gotcha.
to feed
Yeah.
my video.
So
Okay.
I'd have to transfer
I
to OBS
am-
to do this. But I'm watching your video, and what I'm communicating is it does the exact same thing that Toon's images did. It's not doing what you claimed, where I see more and more and more of the boat. It's not doing that. That's why I'm confused. You're saying, here's the video that proves you're going to see more
Okay.
and more of the boat. And I'm going, that's not what's
Okay.
happening.
Yeah, I saved this to let's see.
You see what I said?
Okay.
I said
There-
he will never bring it up. He has in mind something
Well-
that he saw and was deceived into thinking that Zoom brought things back, but it never does.
Wait, I
And-
see
and
it now.
I've
okay,
done this
okay,
live
I see.
dozens
I
of
see.
times.
Okay,
You
I-
see my
I-
screen?
I made your screen. I made the screen smaller on my phone. It's somehow, it's a picture in picture,
Okay.
and I can see your video now. Okay, and I see
Okay.
2 boats. Okay, I see 2 boats. I see a boat
Here,
beyond
I'm
the.
going to
other
go
one.
back to your video. This is the beginning where it just showed,
Okay.
hey, you can't hardly see anything. It zooms in.
Okay, that's right.
I can see it.
Now this is
I
now
can see
whenever
it.
you start out at the very beginning, that's supposed to be the naked eye. What can you see with the naked eye? That's what we were taught in the 3rd grade. Boats
Now, let me
disappear over the
pause.
curve with the naked eye.
No, bottom-up obstruction is what we were taught.
Right.
Bottom-up
Wait.
obstruction. Stop talking about not seeing,
Well,
not being big enough to see.
We're-
It's
we're
about
not-
bottom-up obstruction.
Yeah, we're not
Aristotle-
denying. We're not.
Aristotle,
We're,
2,000 some years ago, said we see boats obstructed bottom up as they go away from us.
Yeah,
That's
no problem
the
there.
globe claim. That's what we see. Nothing about too small to see with the naked eye, and then you can see it with the zoom. That's not the globe claim. That's not what Aristotle said.
So I can see a tiny object here. And I think if I were here with my naked eye, I think I might be able to actually see the boat on the horizon. I think I might be able to see it out there, just a little bit of it with my naked eye. So this is almost deceitful
problem
because, okay. So now as it zooms in, there it is. I'm seeing, okay, look how much of the boat I'm seeing. Now, as it zooms in, your claim is I will see more and more of the bottom of the boat as it zooms in.
Yeah, you should
That
be able
was
to see
your-
water beyond the boat.
Okay,
Past
let's
the boat
test
also.
that claim. Let's test that claim. Can I see more of the boat and can I see water beyond the boat? If I cannot, I'm going globe Earth. If I can, I'm going flat Earth. Let's look at this. It's going to zoom in more. Comes into more focus. That's great. I don't see more of the boat there. It's the same amount of boat. Now let me zoom in more.
All right.
Same amount of boat. Zoom in more. Same amount of boat. Zoom in more. Same amount of boat. It did not add to, I cannot see the bottom of the boat just because I zoom in.
And you don't see water beyond.
Well,
And
I
you don't
don't
see
know. I don't know what we're supposed to be seeing here. All right.
Oh,
That's the globe.
you-
claim.
I mean,
That
half
matches
the
a globe.
boat is in the water anyway. Isn't that portion
Grant,
of the
we're not
boat
we're not
what
talking
we
about seeing the
see
water.
if it's up to us anyways?
Grant, we're not talking about seeing the boat that's in the water. We're talking about seeing the boat at the water line. So your claim was, you said, I don't know what we're supposed to see. Here's what you just told me we're
I'm
supposed to
sorry.
see.
Okay, I'm sorry.
You said we're supposed to see more of the boat and water beyond the boat. That was your words. Here's what we should see. More boat and water beyond the boat. As this video, the one that you gave me, brings up, we're not seeing more of the boat and we're not seeing water beyond the boat.
Well, I have seen pictures and videos of water beyond the boat. Okay, now I do believe that we are seeing the full boat here. Okay, if that boat were actually going over any curvature and we got to zoom in with the camera. All right, and Mctoon, how far is a boat supposed to be able to go before it starts to get hidden behind the curvature? I said 3 to 5 miles. What do you say?
It depends. It depends on the height of the observer and the atmospheric conditions.
Okay,
so I need all three of those things in order to produce a prediction for you.
All right, so this is a
this video does not contain the distance,
right,
nor does it contain the height of the observer.
Well,
so
we haven't
use this video.
I didn't talk to the person who made this video.
You cannot use this video unless you have those things to determine whether or not the globe is predicting that the boat should be seen or not.
Well, we don't know how far these two boats are. Okay,
right, so we can't make that prediction in this instance. What we can do is we can test your claim.
One boat is closer than the other one.
It doesn't matter. You are trying to run away from your claim that Zoom brings things back. It clearly doesn't. Just as I said, and I've done dozens of times in live debates with flat earthers claiming Zoom brings things back, they don't ever produce the video of the Zoom bringing things back. And you have done exactly what every other flat earther has done. And in fact, this exact same video was one of the ones that was produced live and doesn't show.
Yeah, this is a pretty famous video. Okay, this is a pretty famous video.
Yeah, and
so Grant, would
you completely matches the globe?
Would you concede and admit, hey, you know what? This one doesn't show what either other flat earthers and I've repeated or what I'm claiming. I'm talking Grant, you. Would you concede, okay, that did not show me more boat the more we zoomed in? Would you concede that? And would you concede it's not showing us water beyond the boat?
Okay, I concede to the fact that whenever you zoomed all the way out,
hang on, Grant. Look at the screen. Look at the screen.
Okay.
Do you see on the right-hand side a sailing vessel, what looks like a sailing vessel?
Yes.
Can you see the boat or do you only see the sail?
Okay, looks like I can see a little bit of the boat and I see the sail.
So I don't see the boat. All I see is the sail. I know it's going behind the numbers there, but look at that.
It's
gone. You don't see the boat. You're zoomed in. You do not see the boat. All you see is the sail. So Grant, please help me here. Please, because I'm assuming you're a Christian. I'm assuming you love, hang on just a second, Grant. I'm assuming you're a Christian. I'm assuming you love the word of God. I'm assuming that you want truth. And I'm going, Grant, please, would you say, hey, based on that video that I asked you to pull up, we don't see more of the boat. We do see things below a horizon and zooming didn't help. And I can't see water past the boat. That sailboat right there, you certainly don't see water past the boat because you don't even see the boat of the sailboat. Would you please just like tell me what your eyes are seeing and admit that? Because I'm going to lose all hope in humanity if you can't just go, you're right, that one didn't prove what I was saying. Maybe there's another example, but that one didn't do it. Would you just give me that?
Okay, what did I say earlier? All right. I said that whenever you zoom in,
You'll see more.
It brings the boat back. You can't see it with the naked eye. Whenever
Right,
you're
hey-
watching it with the naked eye, okay, it appears to vanish. But whenever you zoom in with your zoom camera, you can bring the boat back into view, and you shouldn't be able to.
That's not
Okay?
what you said.
Now,
That's not, hang on just a second. Time out, Grant, time out. You
Wait.
said, if I zoom in, I'll see more of the boat.
yes, I did.
Okay. Okay, hang on,
Now,
Grant.
how much of the
in
boat
this
did
example,
you see before it was
Grant,
zoomed in?
Grant, in this example, did I see more of the boat when I came back here and said, let's watch it zoom in? There's how much of the boat you see. Let's zoom in more. There's how much of the boat you see. Did I see more of the boat, or do I see the same amount no matter how much I zoom?
All right.
Please, Grant. I mean, like, this is not, there's no conspiracy going on. I'm not sitting here going, ha, 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 we're going to trick them. This is your video. I'm just screen sharing your claim. If we zoom in, we will see more of the vessel than you can see. Do you,
Without
in
the
this
zoom
video,
lens,
see more?
we can't see the vessel at all without the zoom lens.
That's not the
That's
that's
what I
not the
was
question.
talking about.
Your claim. Hey, Grant.
I'm sorry.
Grant,
but that's
here's your
what
words.
I
Here's your words.
I may have said that you can see more of the boat. Okay, and that's what I meant. With the naked eye, you can't see the boat with the naked eye. But whenever you
Who cares?
zoom in, okay, you can see the boat again.
Hey,
That
Grant.
is what I was taught in the
That's
third grade.
irrelevant. That has
Why-
nothing to do. Hey, Grant,
why
hang
is
on, hang
that
on.
irrelevant?
Please get this. Because your eye can only see so far, and you can only make out so many details. The claim that you're making right now is the more we zoom in, I'll see more of the boat. We
do.
give you evidence, and you don't. That's
You can't
you
see
don't
the boat at all without zooming in. Zoom back
hang on.
out. You can't see the boat at all.
that's not the
Two
argument,
different
though.
claims.
Two different-
Apples and oranges.
That was my argument. Okay, whenever
Okay,
you
right
zoom
here.
out,
But it doesn't.
you
But it
can't
doesn't
see, you
apply
can't
to
see
the
the
shape
boat
of the
at
Earth.
all.
It has
Whenever you
nothing to do
zoom
with the shape of
in-
the Earth. Then
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
that has nothing to do with the shape of the Earth, though. So you're
No, it's got
discussing.
everything to do with
you've
the shape of the Earth.
changed the topic from something that is a test
No, I
of the
didn't.
shape of the Earth to something that is not a test of the shape of the Earth. The test of the
Whenever
shape of the
I
Earth
was-
is whether or not something is obstructed bottom up. This is not showing that bottom up obstruction matches the flat Earth claim. It's showing that bottom up obstruction matches the globe claim. Now hold on. I want to take it aside here. Hold on.
Okay,
Just
go
a
ahead.
second,
I'm sorry.
Grant. This
I'm
is super
sorry.
important. Grant, I know that you have installed Flat Earth Dave's app. Now, in our conversation, you have not told me your email address. I know
my
your
email address.
Well, don't
my
say
email.
it. Don't say it. Hold on. I will say your email address is liesinthetextbooks1@gmail.com. Now, would you like me to tell you live here the password that you gave to Flat Earth Dave? Because I have it.
Password I gave to Flat Earth Dave.
Flat Earth Dave's app that you downloaded and last ran in about a year ago in February. I have a snapshot of the data in just north of Biloxi.
Okay.
I can tell you, I won't say it if you don't want me to, but I can tell you your password in Dave's app. I have it right on, and this snapshot I have.
Yeah, I can look it up. I don't remember which I used.
I'm not gonna say it.
I don't know what the
Okay.
problem. I don't know what the point
Right.
is.
The problem is that you have installed Flat Earth Dave's app, and he
All right.
has leaked your data. Did he tell you that he leaked your data?
I think that it's the privacy stuff, and
Did
I'm
he tell
not,
you?
I'm not really
He
too
did
worried
not.
about that.
He did not.
Did
tell
Dave
you that
actually
he
come to
leaked
you and tell you that? Did Dave go to
No,
you
he
and say,
No, he did
No,
not.
he did not.
He violated U.S. privacy laws by leaking the data and not informing you. It's been over a year since that data was leaked. I'm looking at your password right here. It's got the number 513 in it. I'll just say that.
Okay.
Dave leaked your data. He didn't tell you that he leaked your data. You gave him Your location, you gave him all of this stuff, and he lied to you by not telling you that he leaked your data, and it still
Okay.
is leaking your data.
Well,
This is
that
so,
right there,
this is so indicative
I don't know why that's
of Flat
important.
Earth. It's
He's gonna tell
critically
you.
important.
He's gonna tell you.
Flat Earthers are scammers. Flat Earth Dave is a scammer. He is scamming people by insisting that they, or by challenging people to his 3 Bitcoin challenge, and then you know install the app, buy the app from him, right? That violates a gambling law, and then watch the video every day for 2 weeks or whatever, and then send a globe proof, and then he'll send 3 Bitcoins. I have done, and several other people have done, exactly what Flat Earth Dave says would be Flat Earth evidence. Dave said that a trip between Santiago and Sydney, taking the correct amount of time for the globe, would be evidence for the globe. It would be, quote, his word, proof. It was sent to him. He did not pay the Bitcoin. He said, before I went to Antarctica, go to Antarctica, film the 24-hour sun, prove the Earth is a globe. I did that. I have not received the Bitcoin from Dave. Flat Earth Dave is one of the leaders of Flat Earth. He is exceedingly dishonest. Super dishonest. This is who leads Flat Earth today. Flat Earth Dave. He's the big guy. His app that you installed leaked your name, your password, your location. The location that he leaked is in
Seems like every app does that these days.
That's not an excuse. Every app that does leak it tells the people that it happened in a public disclosure. He did not. But Bayou Barnard is where your location was as of February last year. In
Okay.
Flat Earth Dave's app.
Grant, I promise what Toon, what Danny, what myself are doing is saying, I don't want you to be deceived. I want you to know the truth. And I know inside you're going, that's what I want. I'm looking for the truth, man. I really want the truth. And we're sitting here going, hey, what are the reasons? That's why I started with, hey, I'm curious, man. Grant, what is it that made you kind of go into Flat Earth? And you said, man, here's what it did it for me. And I went, that almost did it for me too. Okay, let's look at that evidence. And then we start looking at the evidence. And we go, okay, if you zoom in, you might be able to see something with Zoom that you couldn't see with the naked eye. That's fine. Can I see more of something? Can I see more of it? In other words, if the bottom is obstructed at 1x, can I zoom into 2x and the bottom is no longer obstructed? That doesn't happen. Danny gave you images of a ship coming into port and getting higher and higher and higher. He gave you pictures that he took going out of port and the ship getting lower and lower and lower. And so Grant, I promise you, bro, not trying to deceive you. I'm not part of NASA. You know who I was raised by. I believe we've watched a lot of conspiracy theories come true, man. Like some of the things, it's like boom, boom, boom. This isn't one of them. This is something that is deceiving you. And I love you enough to tell you that's exactly what's going on.
Well, I think what's happening here is we are at an impasse on this particular subject. And
I still want to know your thoughts.
We need to look at other parts of this argument. I mean, other parts of this debate in order to, really say, okay, are we seeing the boats disappear behind the curve, or are we seeing the boats disappear into the vanishing point of the horizon?
Okay, time out.
What are we seeing here?
Right. I'm not going to be able to get to that. I wanted to actually go through several of the scientific things because I'm going to have to end here. But I wanted to go through several of the scientific things. But for the sake of you and for the sake of others that have heard this out of all the different arguments for flat Earth, I would like you to make a list of them. And when you make the claim, I can see more of, not a bigger version of, I can see more of the boat or more of the city when I zoom in. More of. In other words, I can see what I could not see. I can see the bottom, what's below the horizon. I can see that by zooming in. I need you to write that one down and then cross it off and right next to it, never use this again, because we gave you 3 and then your own. The 4th one is your own example that you told me to look up. And it didn't.
No, I still believe that what my claim was is true. You can zoom back in on that boat, and you could see the whole boat again whenever it disappeared from your naked eye.
Never
Okay,
happens.
watch.
Okay.
This shows the power of the flat Earth deception and how powerful Satan has deceived flat Earthers.
No, this is what I was taught in the 3rd grade. This debunks what I was taught in the 3rd grade.
Okay, then you were taught something wrong in the 3rd grade, and we can correct that. You were taught something wrong. We can correct that. What you should have been taught in 3rd grade is that as the boat goes out, the bottom of it disappears, not the sides, not the top, only the bottom disappears. That's what we observe. And that's
what I was taught in the 3rd grade too.
Well, I
okay?
suspect,
the thing
Grant,
is,
I suspect your teacher went beyond what the textbook said, embellished it with her own ideas, and she happened to be wrong. She didn't intentionally lie to you, but she told you false things because she told you shooting from the hip. And I've known many teachers who've done that. They did it to me. They did it to my son. Growing up, I learned many years later that many things I was taught in school were not quite true.
This was not the teacher. This was in the textbook. I wish I had my textbook to show it to you.
Well, then there are mistakes in textbooks as well.
But I have a feeling. I have a feeling the textbook probably got it right.
I agree with you on that.
I have a feeling, Grant, the textbook got it right. And here, okay, so this is your example, and then I want to go to one final thing with Mctoon.
Okay.
This is your example. Your claim that you just repeated again. You said, "I'm going to hold to my claim. If we zoom in, I can see more of the boat." On this example that you gave, I'm sharing my screen.
You can't see the boat. You can't see the boat at all without the zoom camera.
But as you
that's irrelevant.
But as you additionally zoom, you see no more of it. You see
but as you zoom in, look at this. Look at this. Your claim was not
saying. Okay, without the zoom camera, the boat goes. It's supposed to go without the zoom camera, naked eye. The boat is supposed to go lower and lower behind the curve. But whenever you zoom in, the prediction is because the boat went behind the curve, you're not supposed to see the boat at all.
No,
whenever you zoom in,
you can't see the bottom of the boat. You've got the claim wrong.
Bottom of the boat.
You've got the claim wrong. Once again, it's the bottom of the boat, not the boat itself.
This is debunking what I learned in the 3rd grade. The boat
and you were taught wrong. Trust us, you were taught wrong.
Okay, here's your video once again.
You're moving the goalpost. This is called moving the goalpost.
No, it's not.
Okay,
it's called putting the goalpost in the wrong place to start with, and we're trying to put it in the right place. Whenever you wrong. If that's what you're taught, then you were taught wrong. Get that through your head. You were taught wrong.
Oh man,
I'm
Grant,
sorry.
I hate it that this is so funny for us, buddy. Because when I go, okay, here's your claim, and I state your claim clearly. If we zoom in, I can see more of the bottom of the boat. The more we zoom in, the more of the bottom of the boat I can see. And then I take your example, zooming in, boats appear on horizon. And I take your example and I play this and I go through this and I go, man, it's not I don't see more of the boat. The boat gets bigger, yes, but I don't see more of the boat here. Now I don't see more of the boat. And they're showing you these mirror lines. I'm not seeing more of the boat. Danny showed you where you do see more of the boat, and that's when it's coming towards you or going away from you, you see less of it. And we showed you examples.
Which is what the globe Earth predicts. That is the true globe Earth prediction, not what you're trying to claim. You're claiming the wrong prediction.
Okay, let me point this out, okay? This is a difference between indoctrination versus education. Whenever I was in the 3rd grade, I got indoctrinated to believe that whenever the boat goes behind the curve, you could not see it anymore because of the horizon being the line where that drops below the curvature of the earth. It drops below the point where you could see it. Okay, so it never crossed my mind to take a take a zoom lens and zoom in on where that boat was and try to bring it back into full view. It never crossed my mind. Okay, this is where education comes into play. You get indoctrinated into believing what I was taught in 3rd grade, which is it goes below the curve. And then whenever you zoom in with that powerful zoom lens, you can all of a sudden see the boat again. And not in this instance, but sometimes you can see water beyond the boat.
He's just
looping. All right.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah, we're all looping here. We're all just looping here. Okay.
Okay. Let me ask you this.
We've already reached an impasse.
Okay. Let me ask you this, Grant. Why can't we see water beyond this boat?
Because it's Okay, it's got waves in it and stuff, but the water is flat. The water is flat.
You should
So
see
why
more
can't I
of it.
Okay,
see?
it's not going to curve up, and what I'm trying to convince you of is that the water isn't curving down either. It's just completely flat.
Right. So, and
The
we
water's
wouldn't,
flat.
so you're saying the only way you could see water beyond is based on the height of the observer. Okay.
Right.
Hey, Toon,
If you go higher, you can see further out on that water.
That's
If
Hey,
you go
Grant.
higher than that, you can see even further out.
This
You
is
see?
great, buddy. Thank you very much for talking with us. I really do
welcome.
appreciate that, man. Really appreciate that. Do you feel like we gave you a fair opportunity to, at least on this one point? I know there's others. Do you feel like we gave you a fair opportunity to make your case?
Yes, and I feel like I have made my case. It's just
Okay.
we've reached an impasse. We both we both disagree, and we haven't really. We need to cover other subjects to
Hang on, before we go there, what do we
not right
disagree
now.
on?
I understand. Not right now.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
understand. Not right
No, I
now.
want to know.
But
You
we need.
said we've reached
Okay,
an
go ahead.
impasse. You said
Right.
we've reached an impasse. In your mind, what is our impasse? What is it that we can't? What is it that makes this an impasse?
Oh, well, an impasse is a disagreement. Okay,
Oh, yeah, I know. What is
we
it
are
though? What are we
disagreeing.
disagreeing on? What are we
Oh,
disagreeing
okay. Well, you are saying that the boats, if you will keep watching that boat, okay, it will continue to go behind the curvature. If we
Okay.
keep on
Yeah,
watching
you're
that
right.
boat go
That's
off,
correct.
your impasse is that what you're stating is that that boat will continue to go lower and lower and lower behind the curvature. All right.
Correct. And would
What
you
I'm
agree? Would you agree
okay,
if
go
it
ahead.
does that, it's a globe Earth? Would you agree if it does that, it's a globe Earth? Or it would be
No,
consistent with a globe Earth? You would
no.
agree that if it did that, it would be
Well,
consistent with what we believe?
well, what we're seeing, okay, what our eyes are showing us is consistent, would be consistent with either curvature or it would be consistent with the vanishing point off in the distance. It getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And the thing is, okay, the boat will disappear. I'm not going to deny that. The boat will disappear bottom up. That's what it does. But it's because of the vanishing point. All the pixels that our eyes are perceiving, all the little photons of light that our eyes are perceiving, the closer it gets to that horizon line, it begins to blend in with that horizon line. And therefore, whenever you look at it, you see curvature. But whenever I look at it, I see vanishing point of perspective. Does that
Okay.
make sense?
I think I do hear what you're saying. I'm curious on the science behind that. So you're saying the pixels closer to the water, those will vanish the further the boat gets away. And the boat will get
Right.
far enough away where the pixels, I just can't see those pixels that are next to the water. And the further away it goes, the less I'm going to see of the boat because the pixels blend in with that line. Is that what you're communicating?
Go and review your dad's explanation on parallax trigonometry. That's what I'm referencing.
I get parallax trig. That's not a problem at all. That's not a
Okay,
problem.
that's
What
right.
I'm trying to get
hold
with
on.
your claim.
Show the
Your
application.
claim is
This is geometry. This is easy to test. Go
Right.
ahead. Do the whole parallax trigonometry. Draw it out. Take a picture, send it to Eric there. I don't think you're going to because I don't think you actually understand how to do the trig. But go ahead.
Well,
and do
I can
it.
show you a diagram of what we're seeing.
so
I can
Grant.
send a diagram of what we're seeing. Oh, go ahead.
Let me get back to the impasse. So the impasse in your mind is, repeat it one more time. Where's our impasse? Where are we not able to connect here?
Basically, you're going to go to the boat going behind the curve, and I'm going to go to the boat getting smaller and smaller and smaller until it has that vanishing point. And the vanishing point that is closer to the horizon is going to become less and less visible, okay, until it gets to that vanishing point. And the boat will eventually, it does appear that the boat is going below the curvature, but that's how light works. The further you get away from it, it looks smaller and smaller and smaller, and everything that our eyes sees is pixels. And the closer it gets to the horizon, it it gets smaller and smaller and smaller. It blends in with the horizon, and it becomes impossible to see unless you have a stronger telescope. Go ahead.
Yeah, so that's why I said when we show you examples of a telescope seeing a boat go lower and lower, not just get smaller and smaller and still see it, because it's going to be on. I mean, if the flat Earth, let's just say the plane is correct, you're still going to see the boat on that water level. It's just going to get smaller as it goes away. It's not going to go down lower and lower and lower. And what we're watching is boats get lower and lower and lower, not just smaller, smaller, smaller. And that's why when I said, hey, I'm still wondering where our impasse is, because it sounds like you're saying,
well, it's your interpretation versus my interpretation. I interpret the boat as it's getting with the vanishing point. Don't you want me to say it again? Okay, you interpret the boat as it's going behind the curvature. Okay, this
Correct.
is a world view, is a different world view. Okay, and the flat water seeks level. It's flat all the way across. So whenever you see that NASA photo of water curving around the Earth, okay, that's a faith belief. The physics of water is that water is flat all the way across, completely flat.
That is a lie.
Okay, man.
That's not a faith thing. That's a lie.
Oh, you have to believe NASA by faith.
No, NASA's not involved.
Yes, it is involved. NASA is very involved.
I'm not talking about NASA.
It's another subject, though. It's another
your
subject.
Lie
is
agree claiming water is flat.
NASA is another subject for another day.
That is a lie. I'm not
going
to leave it unchallenged.
Completely flat on the surface.
No, it's not. That's 100% a lie.
This is Grant. This is really interesting to me because I know Mctoon, you do these debates regularly. You've had a lot of conversations. I've had conversations with flat earthers, but it typically is pretty easy to go, hey, here's a couple of things about science that, would show that that's impossible. But Grant, this is my first long, what have we been doing? An hour and a half with you at least now, trying to get through one simple point, just one. And I'm trying to go, hey, would you at least write this one point down and cross it off? And you're like, no, I'm not going to do that. That's not the way I see it. And I'm like, okay, but here's the photographic evidence. Here's the ship actually getting lower and lower and lower. And on your example, when you zoom in, you don't see more. On Danny's two examples, the ship coming into port, the ship going out of port, you saw less and less and less going out. You saw more and more and more coming in. And I'm going, on Mctoon's example, he zoomed in on the fishing vessel and you didn't see more of it. You just, the fishing vessel, the amount that you were able to see got bigger and got smaller based on how much you zoomed. That makes sense. And I'm going, well, you're making me lose faith in humanity and in human reasoning. It's really tough, man. I mean, honestly, this is hard.
Yeah, I want you to lose faith in NASA. NASA is lying to us.
What does NASA have to do with what we
have
just
faith, have faith in God? Now I'm
the
speaking
red
to your
hair.
religious beliefs, Eric.
It's the red
The
hair.
Have
one
faith in
thing-
God. Have
I
faith
do.
in God.
I
Not
do,
man,
absolutely.
not man.
Do you believe that I have faith in God out of curiosity? Or is whether or not I have faith in God dependent on whether I agree with you?
Just based upon our talk, we haven't covered this enough. I hope you have faith in God.
Yeah.
I hope.
This is
And-
authority. This is revelation from God.
Okay.
This is authority from God. Absolutely. This is where truth comes from.
Okay.
Agree.
Now, if we're going to bring scripture into this, now
I'd
we can
love
go
to
there
do
if
that.
you want. We can go there if you want. Are we ready to do that?
Hey guys, can we do one script? Let's put a 15-minute time limit. You got to go to the bathroom yet?
No.
Mctoon, you good? 15 minutes. I want you to give us the very best scripture on flat Earth. What's your best one?
Face. All right. The Bible says, I believe it says 36 times in Scripture that the earth has a face. Waters have a face. Geometrically speaking, now you can look it up 36 times in Scripture. The Bible says that the earth has a face, waters has a face, and geometrically speaking, okay, a face is a flat, planar surface. So if you're looking at a sphere is not a flat planar surface at all. Okay, it's continuously curved. So there are no faces on a sphere. A cone, how many faces does a cone have? A cone has one face. A cylinder, how many faces does a cylinder have? A cylinder has two faces. A cube has six faces. You see what I'm saying? So the Bible says that the earth has a face 36 times. And whenever you look at the water and you understand that water is absolutely completely flat all the way across, there is no curvature. All right. The earth becomes extremely flat at that point because it's covered 70% in water. Now, the land has mountains and valleys and ridges and stuff like that. Okay. But the water is completely flat all the way across. Whenever the Bible says that the earth has a face, the Spirit of God went over the face of the waters. Okay. And whenever you take it back to the original Greek, or the original Hebrew, okay, there is a word, I think it's pano, all right? They actually did translate it into flat earth in two different versions of the Bible, old versions of the Bible. They actually did translate that word into flat earth. But the word pano, okay, and I think it's pano, okay, and without looking it up, I can look it up real quick. But anyways, it's it's used a ton of times in the Old Testament. The word pano, Hebrew word. Okay, and it just don't take my time to look it up. Okay, but it is used a ton of times in the Old Testament, and that is the word. Okay, that was translated into a couple of different versions of the Bible hundreds of years ago, and it was translated into the words flat earth. Okay. Now they didn't use the words flat earth in newer versions of the Bible. Of course, it's not in the original King James version. All right. But the word pano can be translated into flat earth. And it's used in Genesis 1 many times. And that's, do you want to talk about that, or do you want me to keep going?
No, just stop right there. That you made your
Okay.
case. Here's some words that are used in Hebrew that clearly this is the Bible making its case. All right, Tune.
Okay.
Let's hear a response to that, and I'm going to turn the AC on while you make your response.
Well, my head has a face on it, and my head is more close to spherical than flat. So what you've done is you've taken an archaic word from thousands of years ago and then forced a specific definition on it that you don't know if the author intended. In fact, the definition that you used didn't exist at the time for face. So my head has a face. My head is sort of spherical. There you go.
Okay.
Well, that was easier than I thought.
Where did you get the notion that face means something flat and planar?
Yeah, I'm curious about that. Is that
Nathan Roberts? It came from
well,
Nathan Roberts.
in geometric terminology or geometry, that is where you find out that the word face is a flat and planar surface.
Actually, I think I know a bit more about geometry than you do, and that isn't true.
Would that surprise you? Would that change? Would that help you? Like, would that put one of those little, oh, it's not true? If you said, if that's.
Well, yeah, there's probably different meanings for the word face. Okay. And I have looked it up, but definitely one of the meanings is it's like a square has six faces. I mean, I already said this. A cone has one face. A cylinder has two faces.
No, a cone actually has. What part of the cone you're saying has only one face?
The flat surface of a cone.
But mathematically, that's not part of the cone. It's the cone part, and it's got one face, but it's not flat.
Okay, we can exclude cone if you don't want to include that one face on the bottom of cone.
None of this geometry existed when the Bible was written.
Well, I mean, you're ascribing to men who lived 2,000 years ago who said the Earth was a globe. So, if you can do that, then I can refer to a book that was written 2,000 years ago or thousands of years ago.
The geometry did exist at the time when Aristotle was talking about it, but when what you're quoting was prior to that, They didn't have the geometry back then. Euclid is about 2,500 years, 2,300 years ago is when geometry really got
Well,
defined.
this is
So face, the definition that you have cherry picked for face, didn't exist when the Bible was written. So you can't use that definition. You're backfilling. You don't.
Does that make sense, Grant? That you're basically saying, hey, here's what the Bible, the word the Bible used. We defined it as this later. I'm going to use this later definition and apply it to this. Do you see the problem with doing that? Like from a theological, from a interpret scripture with scripture perspective?
Yes, I am a firm believer in original intent of the writers. I'm a firm believer in that. And
Good.
I
So if they
believe
didn't
that,
have the definition that you're putting on it, why would you say this is what they meant when they didn't even have that as a definition?
well, I have two PhD. They are globe believers, okay? But I have two PhD biblical Dr. John Walton and Michael Heiser, okay? They are both, now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying they're flat earthers, but they do teach that in the when the Bible was originally written, the people who wrote it did believe in a cosmology that was a flat earth cosmology, okay? And now I'm not talking about disk that's orbiting the sun. No flat earther believes in a disk that orbits the sun. Now this is where I'm getting off into other subject. Like I said, we were at an impasse. We got to get off into other subject. But anyways, no flat earther believes in a disk that orbits the sun. Okay, we believe that the same thing that the original writers of Scripture actually taught. What was the only thing that God created on day 2 of creation?
He made the expanse, the rakia.
You've gone
Well,
off track.
there you go. There you go. Okay, the word was actually in the King James version is actually firmament. All right. Now,
Stop right there. Stop right there.
okay.
The reason why they said they put firmament is because the first English translation was that of Wycliffe a few centuries before, 700 years ago, 300 years before the King James. And he worked from the Vulgate, the Latin, and Jerome chose the word firmamentum, which is a good translation of stereoma, but it's a terrible translation of rakia. And other English translations after that put firmament because they followed Wycliffe's lead. However, when the 1611 King James Version came out, they stuck with firmament because that's what had been done before. But there was a margin note there. And in the margin, it said, or expanse. Ditto for the Geneva Bible, which was published 50 years prior to that. So in the King James Version, it didn't mean for something hard or firm. They understood, the translators understood, that it meant expanse, not something hard.
Okay, can I say something?
Yeah.
Okay, so expanse, the word expanse, I looked into the etymology of that word, and I have 3 sources that tell me that, or that say that the word expanse, the first usage of the word expanse didn't come until, when was the King James written? It was written in 1611. The first usage of the word expanse didn't come until I think it was 26 years later, after the King James Bible was written. I have 3 sources that say that the first usage of the word, I can show you those 3 sources. The first usage of the word expanse didn't come till after 1611.
That is false. I've seen a 1611 facsimile and it says or expanse in the margin note. And again, I've seen the 1558 Geneva Bible, and it had the margin note as well. It got left out later, but the original Geneva and King James Bible both had margin notes that said or expanse. So if anyone tells you that didn't appear until later, they're simply not telling you the truth. They're wrong about that.
Now, in the margin notes, Kent Hovind, he says that we aren't really concerned with what it says in the margin. All right. So let's look at the word firmamentum for a second. What is a firmamentum? A firmamentum.
He doesn't care about truth.
Oh, no. Grant, I'm sorry. This is just getting.
I'm sorry.
Wait, Grant, I got to tell. I don't know if you can see me. I'm giggling a little here because it's just funny to go. This is my authority, and then Well, Kent Hovind
Wait.
says, and I'm going, it's just
Well, I'm
funny
sorry.
to hear you waffle back and
Wait,
forth
is
and,
the
and for us to
margin?
show you pictures and go, and me say, hey,
What?
here's the evidence. And you go, well, I'm still going to hold to, when you zoom in, you can see more of the boat, even though in all the examples, we didn't see that. And it, and my card's going to run out. I'm out of time here in about 3 minutes.
Okay.
So I'm going to have to let you go, but thanks for trying to make a case for flat earth according to the Bible. Man, I pray, I really do. I pray Godspeed to you, man, because I would encourage you to back up and make sure you're seeing it from the big picture and make sure what you're getting is true. Because it sounds to me like you've heard a whole lot from one perspective and you just believe it all. And it sounds like you're repeating what you've heard from one perspective. I'll give you the last one.
I'm a fan of your dad. I'm a big fan of your dad. Okay, and he mentioned what it says in the margins, and he says
So do
that
you
we're
not believe when
concerned
Danny
with
tells
what
you
the
that?
words we're concerned with what the words actually have to say. We're not concerned with somebody went and wrote in the margins. Okay, we're
Right.
concerned with, and that's what I was fixing to say. Okay, the word let me just make this last final point. Okay,
Go for it.
the word firmamentum, it was a word that described a lid on a wine container, okay, a barrel of wine, okay? It's described the lid on a barrel of wine, okay? Which means that the firmamentum created an enclosure. So the point is about the firmament is that God created a firmament. It was an enclosure over the flat earth. The flat earth is the floor of the universe, and the firmament is a is is a lid that goes over the flat earth. It's a completely different cosmology. All right. So whenever they used the word that you say that, oh, they just went ahead and used the word firmament or firmament because it was there anyway, or something like that. But the thing is that the firmament, all right, they chose to use that word. Experts they chose to use that word, and they didn't use the word expanse.
Hey, Grant. Hey,
Okay,
Grant.
go ahead.
Does Kent Hovind believe you on the flat earth? Does he agree with you?
No, he doesn't. But we agree on many topics. We agree on original intent of Scripture. I have two PhD theologians, okay, who say that the original intent of the writers of Scripture was flat Earth perspective, was the flat Earth cosmology.
That's not what they said. You changed your claim about what
No,
they said.
Dr.
Your
Walton
original-
and Michael
hold on,
Heiser, I have their videos. I can bring it up right now.
Your original claim, don't interrupt me. Your original claim was that they believed that it was flat. I don't disagree that some of them did.
No,
But
I didn't say that.
Stop
No,
interrupting
I said
me.
they weren't.
Please stop interrupting me. Please stop.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Now you've changed your story to they intended to communicate that instead of they believed it, right? You changed your story, and you were trying to interrupt me to stop me from getting that truth out.
What's the difference between the original intention of the writers of Scripture is extremely important. Yes, they believed it.
No, but you
they
changed
didn't.
it.
If you went and
You
showed
changed
them a
it from
picture of the
they believed it to they intended to communicate it.
if you went and showed them, if you could get a time machine and go back and show them a picture of the 1972 blue marble,
Doesn't matter. No, you've
all right,
gone off track.
they wouldn't know what it was. They wouldn't
Doesn't
know
matter.
what you were talking about.
Completely irrelevant.
Well,
By the way, Grant,
did have a cosmology. Okay, I'm sorry.
Grant, the first Spanish translation of the Bible was in 1569. We're talking 42 years before the King James, and the word they used in Genesis 1:2, assuming the second day of creation account, verses 6-8, was the Spanish word for expanse. Look it up. Don't trust me. Look it up. They used the word in 1569, not 26 years after the King James. It was 42 years before the King James. The Spanish word for expanse was used there, not firmamentum or anything related to the word firmament. It's expanse they used.
Grant, last thought, and then I got to cut you off.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
It's got to be quick. 30 seconds. Give me a summary.
Okay. Last thought is flat earthers do not believe in a disk that orbits the sun. We believe in an enclosed structure it contains the atmosphere. Okay, it's why we have air pressure. All right, it's the reason now all the sun, moon, and stars are in the firmament, inside the firmament. It's a completely different cosmology. Okay, I'll finish it up
Cool.
there.
Grant, thank you for taking time with us. I hope you felt heard. I hope you felt listened to. I'm leaving this conversation like I leave a lot of conversations with skeptics and atheists and evolutionists going, you can show the evidence, but it just didn't help. And so just want you to know that's kind of the way I'm leaving this conversation right now. A little bit downtrodden, that you could present the evidence, you could show the pictures, rub your face in it, and you go, yeah, I'm still going to hold to what I believe. That's hard for me to realize that. So I want to say that with you on here, so I'm not like talking behind your back or anything. That's how I'm leaving this conversation right now.
Thanks for having me on. Thank you so much.
Thanks for being on, Grant.
And my opinion is changed now. My original opinion that I wrote into the comments. I'm sorry I said that.
That we don't.
Oh, that we didn't let people speak. Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad we changed it on that. God bless, bud. Okay. Man, thank you guys. For me, I sit here and I go, I think Mctoon, hang on, the skeptics call you Mctoon, right? I'm supposed to just call you Toon?
Toon.
Yeah, flat earthers call me Mctoon in their echo chambers.
That's
So
fine.
call me Mike.
So,
Mike is fine.
Toon. Mike.
Or
Okay.
Toon, either.
Mike, you do this for fun, don't you?
Yeah.
I'm like, I just realized, and flat earthers, and I still got some flat earthers. Bing is on here. Paul is on here. So I got right here on my Zoom with me, and I go, guys, it's kind of like me. I go to the atheist rallies. I go talk to them. I'm kind of having a good time because I'm like, really? Nobody made the world? Really? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so I don't know. I got a little bit of what your reasoning behind this, and that's very interesting. Thoughts, guys, before we close?
Mike, I really appreciate your work that you do. You're very thorough, very detailed, and I come to you many times when I have questions about the flat Earth movement. And I appreciate you joining us today. It's been great.
Yeah, what a blessing.
Dan, everything you said about me is about you. So thank you. If I can give a little close,
Please.
So I do it for fun, but also I have, in the back of my head, other stuff. So my channel is a science-based channel, and I do it for fun and, community and stuff like that. But in the back of my head, I see this as a spiritual battle. I see that the flat earth lie is from the father of lies. And when Christians try to declare things about the Bible that contradict reality, the fact that the earth is a globe, it is to me similar to what Robert Schadewald was doing. Robert claimed that the Bible was trying to convey the flat earth, and therefore the Bible is wrong, was Robert's position. So when flat earthers argue aggressively that about the Bible supporting that, all they're doing in the end is declaring that the Bible is wrong. That's why it's a spiritual battle, and that's why I know who it's from.
That is powerful. And for me, same thing. I want truth as it is. I want to see as God sees. That's what I want, because when you see as God sees, you should do as God wants you to do. And that's ultimately what I want for each one of us. Wow. Mike, thanks for hanging out. What a privilege to hang out with you guys. And I don't know how your debates normally go. I was like, let's just try to get clarity on this one issue. Just one. Let's come to a conclusion on this. And when I couldn't come to a conclusion on one thought, despite the photographic evidence, despite here's the claim, here's what we're seeing, here's the claim, I went, this is going to be more frustrating than I thought. If I were to have your job, Toon, this would be more frustrating than I thought. Going, okay, which, or do you have them? How many are there? How many flat Earth proofs are there that you're like, I got it down? There's 27 of them, and we could go through every one, but there's 27. Like, how many? Do you know?
There's just a handful. That they love to do the see too far stuff because they always get that wrong, and they're super good at getting that wrong. They look at high altitude balloons but all the ones that they support have fisheye lenses. They talk about non-evidence based things. I don't know. There's probably 25 to 50 that are the core ones that they bring up.
Wow. Well, to me, you taking your time, taking your energy, taking your effort, using your finances to go to Antarctica, and I'm blown away. Great job.
Well,
Great job.
people helped. A lot of people helped. So
Yeah, I know it was a lot. Yeah. I was just texting. Who was I texting? And I tried to get him on. Just a little shout out to him. Who is that we? Will. I tried to get Will on. He's visiting his grandfather who just had a stroke, so wasn't able to come on. But that would have been another fun. This is kind of I don't know, guys. I don't know if I'm going to get a bug for this or not, but this is very fun. Yeah, very, very enjoyable.
Let's do it again.
Let's do it again. Awesome. Tune, God bless you. Audience, thanks for hanging out. Anybody who stayed on the entire almost 3 hours, wow, you get a gold star for attendance. If you never got a good thing in your life, you just got one today. Thanks for hanging out with us, listening. And to my is it Paul and Bing, whoever you are on my chat here. Thanks for just listening and making comments on Zoom. I appreciate that. Would love to do another one of these. This is actually fun. I like it. I like good conversations. Well, God bless you guys. I look forward to seeing you another time. This Wednesday, I've got a great show with Dr. Jason Lyle. It's live at noon, and it is on mathematics. Does math prove God? What does math really show us? And great conversation. Tune, what's your next thing? What are you doing?
I've got a debate tomorrow on my Mctoon Live channel with a guy named Dion Smo. He's pretty funny, flat earther, but a lot of fun. Kind of a goofball, and there's a lot of laughing whenever he's on. So.
And which channel is that again?
Mctoon Live. So I have two.
Mctoon Live.
Yeah, my live channel is where I do the live streams, and Conspiracy Tunes is where I do my pre-recorded.
Oh, fantastic. That's a good idea to separate them like that. Cool. Awesome. God bless, guys. We'll see you next time.
So the real